Chapter 898. The icy blue energy melted into Lu Yuan's ribs. Then, an icy blue light shone on Lu Yuan's back. The water dragon king's wings melted together very smoothly. Soon, the icy blue water dragon king's wings melted together. It was also at this moment that Lu Yuan's eyes, which had been tightly shut, suddenly opened. A bright light flashed in his double pupils. At the same time, Lu Yuan's body started to glow. The fire dragon king's wings and the water dragon king's wings glowed red and icy blue. He felt hot and cold on his back. Lu Yuan's right arm shone with a golden light. His left arm shone with a yellow light. Lu Yuan's hands shone with a black light and a dark gold light. His lower body shone with a golden light, too. With a flash of light, Lu Yuan's body began to be covered with a layer of armor-like material. His back was a gorgeous ice blue and fiery red armor. His right arm was a dazzling golden armor, densely covered with diamond-shaped scales. His left arm was a khaki-colored armor. His palms seemed to be wearing a pair of armor gauntlets, shining with dark and dark gold colors. Other than his head, the rest of his body was covered with golden fan-shaped dragon scale armor. This set of armor was very strange. There were many colors and it was definitely not good-looking. However, when it appeared, Lu Yuan's aura suddenly increased by a lot. It was far more powerful than the aura that Qian Daoliu once had. The prototype of godly equipment. It looks like it's because of the ice and fire dragon king's wings. It's a shame that I still lack the skull, torso, and left and right leg bones. Otherwise, I could use Qing Qi God power to modify it. I could have my own godly equipment when I'm below God class. However, with the help of the golden dragon armor, I can connect the armor formed by the soul bones to form this demigod armor. Although it looks a little weird, it can increase my combat power by a lot. At the very least, it's much stronger than just the golden dragon armor alone. I can use it as a trump card against my enemies. Normally, I'll use Qing Qi God power to nourish and modify them. Then, it'll be easier to form godly equipment. Perhaps it'll be even stronger. Lu Yuan thought to himself. Lu Yuan was very confident about the power of his godly equipment. His golden dragon armor was already a godly equipment. The ice and fire dragon king's wings and the golden dragon right arm bone were both god-class soul bones. As long as the two palm bones had enough energy, they could evolve into god class. The worst one was the titan giant ape left arm bone, but it was still a 100,000-year-old soul bone. If he could get the rest of the soul bones, even if they were not god-class soul bones, the godly equipment he made from those soul bones would definitely surpass the godly equipment of ordinary gods. Even the godly equipment of a first-class god would not be able to compare. After all, the Ice and Fire Dragon King and the second-generation Golden Dragon's soul bones were not ordinary. Lu Yuan estimated that only the godly equipment of a godly king would be able to compete with his godly equipment. And if he could get god-class soul bones later, he could use all of them to form godly equipment. The power of his godly equipment would definitely be off the charts. Even the godly equipment of a godly king would not be able to compare. If that was the case, it would be very beautiful. It's a pity that I can only think about it. How can god-class soul bones be so easy to get? Moreover, the Titan giant ape left arm bone is only 100,000-year-old. It's impossible to get all of them. Lu Yuan mocked himself. He stood up and removed the armor on his body with a thought. Currently, Lu Yuan was still in the state of being possessed by his martial soul. Draconic might permeated his body. Behind his back, 3 pairs of dragon wings, one red, one golden, and one ice blue, were stretched out. Not only did they exude a strong aura, but they also had a strong visual impact. The 3 pairs of dragon wings were simply too gorgeous when placed together. Lu Yuan clenched his fist lightly. After fusing with 2 god-class external soul bones, he had gained many benefits. His physique had improved, one of them was the improvement. And the improvement of his physique meant that his strength had also increased. If Lu Yuan's strength was close to 1,000,000 jin in the past, then he had now reached 1,000,000 jin and stepped into the realm of gods. Only gods could have a strength of more than 1,000,000 jin, and Lu Yuan already had it. Next were the 2 metacarpal bones, which had increased in age. Third was his soul power. Even though Lu Yuan had only refined a small amount of godly power, the godly power still allowed Lu Yuan's soul power to increase by 2 ranks, reaching rank 79. Rank 79 was only one step away from becoming a soul Douluo. I'm very strong now. Feeling the surging power in his body, Lu Yuan revealed a smile. Now, he dared to fight Sendryu without using the god-slaying spear or the true dragon treasured skill. He was even confident that he could win. God-class soul bones live up to their reputation. Lu Yuan sighed softly. He withdrew his soul power and exited his martial soul form. The golden dragon wings on his back also disappeared, leaving only the icy blue and fiery red dragon wings. Without my martial soul, I'll have 4 wings. With my martial soul, I'll have 6 wings. In the future, when I release my martial soul, it feels pretty good to have 6 wings on my back. It's much more intimidating than just a pair of dragon wings. Most importantly, I'll be much more handsome. Lu Yuan chuckled. I'm in a good mood. Seems like you've gained a lot. A gentle voice sounded beside his ear. Jiu Yuana's figure approached Lu Yuan's side. Indeed. Lu Yuan chuckled. He held Jiu Yuana's jade-like hand and squeezed it gently. Thank you. The 2 of you can enter my mind now. Lu Yuan turned slightly and said softly to the Fire Dragon King and the Water Dragon King. Then we'll do as you say. The Water Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King didn't reject. After their soul bones fused with Lu Yuan, their remnant souls were slowly dissipating. Please. Lu Yuan said softly. A white light flashed, and a small white whirlpool appeared between his eyebrows. Seeing this, the remnant souls of the Fire Dragon King and the Water Dragon King wrapped around a fiery red and icy blue god's core respectively. They rushed into the white whirlpool and entered Lu Yuan's mind. Do you want to play in my mind? Seeing that the 2 dragon remnant souls had entered his mind, Lu Yuan asked Jiu Yuana, who was beside him, with a smile. Sure. Jiu Yuana nodded gently and agreed. The mind was the most important and secretive part of a person's body. Lu Yuan was willing to let her in. His trust in her made Jiu Yuana feel very touched. Jiu Yuana had a gentle smile on her face. She turned her head, took a step forward, and gave Lu Yuan a peck on the cheek. Chapter 899. Lu Yuan was rather surprised to be pecked by Jiu Yuana's kiss. When had she become so proactive? Although she had never resisted Lu Yuan's advances and was even willing to cater to him, it was rare for her to take the initiative like today. Lu Yuan recalled what he had just said, and immediately realized that Jiu Yuana had been moved by his invitation to enter his sea of consciousness. Let's begin, Enea. Lu Yuan chuckled as he wrapped his arm around Jiu Yuana's slender body, and their foreheads touched. He closed his eyes, and his clear energy divine power surged before entering Lu Yuan's sea of consciousness along with Jiu Yuana's spiritual power. His sea of consciousness was still the same as before. The clear energy divine seed hung high up in the sky, and the god-slaying spear spirit was rooted into the mountain. The 5-clawed golden dragon king spirit was flying in the sky while letting loose a series of dragon's roars. Down below was a bluish-golden ocean and a golden beach. The only difference was that Ming had been the only one on the beach, but now, the incomplete souls of the Fire Dragon King and Water Dragon King had also been added. Both of their incomplete souls were on the beach, while their 2 deity cores were hovering near the clear energy divine seed. Beside them was a triangular barrier, which was none other than the sea god's heart. Lu Yuan and Jiu Yuana walked in hand and walked straight into the beach. The incomplete souls of the Water Fire Dragon Kings were lying side by side on the beach, and their fiery red and icy blue dragon bodies were enshrouded in white light. This was none other than the clear energy divine power. The clear energy divine power was extremely useful, and under its nourishment, not only had the incomplete souls of the Water Fire Dragon Kings been completely stabilized, they were gradually becoming more substantial. How do you feel? Lu Yuan's spiritual body held onto Jiu Yuana's hand as they made their way over to the 2 incomplete souls of the 2 Dragon Kings. It feels pretty good. I can sense that my soul is becoming more substantial, and with enough time, perhaps it'll be able to return to its original undamaged state. The Water Dragon King's incomplete soul replied. Me too. My soul feels more substantial than ever, and it feels very good. This burst of white divine power is indeed very profound. The Fire Dragon King's incomplete soul chimed in. It's good that it's effective. This way, your chances of revival in the future will be higher. Lu Yuan said faintly. Yeah. The remnant souls of the Water and Fire Dragon Kings nodded at the same time. If they still had a faint trace of doubt in their hearts at that time, they were completely convinced now. Moreover, they were very glad. Originally, they were destined to fall. It was just a matter of time. But now, it was different. Not only did they make their own contributions to the dragon race, but they also had a chance to be resurrected. It was really wonderful. Is that the clear chi spirit seed? Jiu Yuana, who was standing beside Lu Yuan, asked as she looked at the clear chi spirit seed that was emitting white light above his sea of consciousness. Yes, that is the clear air god seed, a god seed that contains the power of rules, Lu Yuan nodded and said. A divine seed that contains the power of laws. It's actually a godly power with no attributes. It's very confusing. Ordinary gods probably wouldn't be able to discover the mystery within. Furthermore, the amount of energy contained within this godly seed is a little frightening. Jiu Yuana said with a serious expression. Her mental strength was the #1 in the world. It was passed down from the dragon god in the past. Even the 5 great divine kings were inferior to her in terms of mental strength. In addition, Lu Yuan's comprehension of the clear chi spirit seed was getting deeper and deeper. The power that erupted was getting stronger and stronger. In addition, Lu Yuan didn't hide it at all. Jiu Yuana discovered something strange. Unlike the previous god of life, they didn't discover anything. That's natural. A divine item conceals itself and isn't easy to be discovered. If it wasn't for the fact that I didn't hide its uniqueness at all, even you might not be able to sense its strangeness. Lu Yuan said softly. Yes, but you still have to be careful. This godly seed is very important. You mustn't let irrelevant people know about it. Otherwise, it might cause others to covet it, especially those hypocritical gods in the divine world. Jiu Yuana said. Don't worry, I'll be careful. Moreover, I'm the only one in the world who can refine this clear chi spirit seed. It's useless for others to get it. In addition, the clear chi spirit seed has a strong concealment ability, so you don't have to be too worried. Lu Yuan said gently. Yes, it's good that you have a plan. Jiu Yuana nodded. She looked around again and then stopped at the god-killing spear on the top of the black mountain in the ocean. What a terrifying weapon. It makes one's heart tremble. What is that? Jiu Yuana asked. The spirit of the god-killing spear, my second martial soul. It's a real killing weapon and also a unique weapon. It surpasses all martial souls and supra-divine weapons in the Douluo world. In the future, there will be many gods who will die under my god-killing spear. It's also one of the things I rely on to overthrow the divine world. Lu Yuan said in a deep voice. The god-killing spear is just like its name. Its murderous aura is extremely terrifying. I hope you can use it to kill more gods in the future. The gods in the divine world are all hypocritical. They all deserve to die. Jiu Yuana said indifferently. Her tone was filled with bone-deep hatred. TSK, what a deep hatred. But don't let hatred blind you. There are indeed many gods in the divine world who are not good, but not all of them deserve to die. Don't be too extreme. But I promise you, I'll kill those who deserve to die for you. As for those gods who have nothing to do with the battle of the dragon gods, don't kill them, okay? Lu Yuan said. Okay, I'll listen to you. You are the head of the family. Jiu Yuana said indifferently. I knew Na was the best. She was the most considerate. Lu Yuan smiled gently. It was true that he helped the soul beasts rise and gave them a chance to become gods, but he didn't want to kill all the gods and only leave the soul beasts. That would be too monotonous. He only wanted to kill the evil and then unify the divine world. There would be soul beast gods and human gods. Wouldn't it be better if there were more variety? You only know how to coax me. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Jiu Yuana couldn't help but say, "But you like it, don't you?" Lu Yuan said with a smile. "Who said that? I don't like it." Jiu Yuana denied. "You don't mean what you say. I didn't expect you to become like this. If I had known, I wouldn't have let you stay with Nana and the others. You've learned bad things." Lu Yuan sighed and said, "It's good that I've learned bad things. Otherwise, I would still be so obedient. You always like to bully me," Jiu Yuana said in a sweet voice. "As if I can't bully you because you've learned bad things. You've seen my sea of consciousness, and I've explained everything. We can go out now. Next, I'll let you know how powerful I am." Lu Yuan raised the corner of his mouth slightly and said with a smirk, "Sure enough, you're still the same. You're not serious." Jiu Yuana shook her head and said helplessly. Chapter 900. The sky was dyed a fiery red by the afterglow of the setting sun. All of a sudden, a streak of colorful light flashed across the sky. The water dragon king wings and the fire dragon king wings on Lu Yuan's back flapped at the same time, and the water elements and faint fire elements in the air surged toward his wings. Not only was his speed extremely fast, but he didn't need to expend any soul power at all. It had to be said that a god-tier soul bone was indeed very special. Lu Yuan hugged Jiu Yuana in his arms, and she wrapped her arms around his neck as she leaned her head gently against his chest. "Abuchi, there's no need to be in such a hurry." Jiu Yuana spoke softly through voice transmission. With Lu Yuan's incredible speed and the whistling of the wind, it was impossible to hear them clearly without voice transmission. Hee. Lu Yuan chuckled, but didn't say anything. "I'll be yours sooner or later, so there's no need to be in such a hurry." Jiu Yuana transmitted her voice in a resigned manner. She thought that Lu Yuan was joking, but she didn't expect Lu Yuan to be serious. As soon as they left the Icefire Yin-Yang well, he rushed back with her in his arms with an impatient look on his face. "What are you thinking about? It's getting dark. We're in such a hurry to go back for a meal. We have to eat our fill first. Otherwise, we won't have any energy left. Our battle won't end any time soon." Lu Yuan chuckled. His battle with Jiu Yuana was definitely more intense than normal people could imagine. "Speaking of which, it's quite pitiful. I haven't had a good time in so many years. They're too weak." Lu Yuan shook his head as he spoke. "Fat." Jiu Yuana couldn't help but burst into laughter after hearing Lu Yuan's words. She looked at Lu Yuan with a strange look in her eyes. This guy has so many girlfriends, but this kind of thing still happens. It's quite amusing. Lu Yuan pursed his lips as he said, "Laugh all you want. You're laughing so happily now, but you'll have to pay me back when we get back." Jiu Yuana didn't get angry when she heard that. She stretched out her hand and gently stroked Lu Yuan's face. She said, "I really never thought that you would have been in such a miserable state all these years. But don't worry, I'm not as weak as them." As the supreme ruler of the dragon race, the Silver Dragon King was very confident in this aspect. "I know. Why else do you think I'm so excited?" Lu Yuan said and then sped up again. Dragon King Palace, Dining Hall. At this moment, it was already dark. Lu Yuan and Jiu Yuana had already returned to the Dragon King Palace. At this moment, they were eating around the table. Lu Yuan was seated at the head of the table. To his left was Jiu Yuana, and to his right was Ning Rongrong. Beside them were Hu Lena, Zhu Zhuqing, and Wang Qiu. As for Chihiro Snow, she was still in the palace. Now that she had ascended the throne, she could not leave for the time being. Eat more." Lu Yuan picked up a piece of meat and placed it in Jiu Yuana's bowl. Her bowl was already full of food. This was the result of Lu Yuan's efforts. "Mph, you're too biased. You only know how to pick food for Na. There are so many of us here, and you actually neglected all of us." Seeing this scene, Hulena was a little jealous. "Na has something important to do tonight. It's very tiring. Don't tell me you want to come too. I'll say it in advance. This time, I'll give it my all." Lu Yuan looked at Hulena and said plainly, "Give it your all. Then I won't go." After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Hulena shook her head like a rattledrum. She knew very well how powerful Lu Yuan was. Zhu Zhuqing's expression changed slightly. She naturally knew what Hulena knew. I'm afraid you'll have to work hard this time. Looking at Jiu Yuana, Zhu Zhuqing said softly. It's okay. Maybe he'll lose. Jiu Yuana smiled faintly and said indifferently. This attitude caused Hulena and Zhu Zhuqing to secretly click their tongues. In all these years, they had only seen Jiu Yuana who was so confident when facing Lu Yuan. No matter who wins or loses, Abuchi, when are you going to touch me? I've waited for 4 months. Do you not like me? Ning Rongrong said aloud. She was really a little anxious from waiting. You're next. Don't worry, we'll do it in order. Lu Yuan said. Oh. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but nod. Half an hour later, finished eating? Lu Yuan looked at Jiu Yuana. Yes. Jiu Yuana nodded gently. Then let's get down to business. Lu Yuan smiled faintly and picked Jiu Yuana up. Don't disturb me for the next 2 days. No matter what, even if the sky falls down, don't come looking for me. If anyone disturbs me, the consequences, hehe, I think you know what I mean. Lu Yuan's gaze swept across Hulena and Zhu Zhuqing as he chuckled. Pervert. You're still the same. Hulena and Zhu Zhuqing spat at the same time and said at the same time. Brother is naughty. He's going to do those shameful things again. Wang Qiuer's crisp and pleasant voice sounded. Look, even Qiuer says you're naughty. Hulena said. So be it. I've been naughty for more than a day or 2 anyway. Lu Yuan's mouth twitched, and he didn't care at all. When they heard this, Hulena, Zhu Zhuqing, and the others' mouths twitched. They really didn't know what to do when they met a rascal like Lu Yuan. All right, you guys continue chatting. I'm leaving. Lu Yuan bade them farewell before he carried Jiu Yuana back to his room. Ning Rongrong rolled her eyes as she looked at Lu Yuan's back and said, Do you want to take a peek? Of course. Hulena nodded and said. Be careful. Qiuer is still here. Don't lead her astray. Zhu Zhuqing said. Sister Zhuqing, Qiuer wants to watch too. Wang Qiuer said. You're not allowed to. If you go, your brother will be angry. He might even lose his temper. The 2 of you, too. Watch your words when Qiuer is around. If you lead her astray, Lu Yuan, that siscon, will explode on the spot. When that happens, you'll suffer. Zhu Zhuqing said. That's true. I'm not going. I'm not going either. How about Sister Rongrong play with me? There's also Sister Nana. Sister Nana can play with me too. Can I not go? Hulena and Ning Rongrong spoke one after the other. All right then. Wang Qiuer nodded. When she heard that Lu Yuan might get angry, she didn't dare to say that she wanted to watch, even though she had always listened to Lu Yuan. As Zhu Zhuqing and the others tried to persuade Wang Qiuer, Lu Yuan carried Jiu Yuana back to his room. They had just finished eating, so the 2 of them washed up. Naya. As he caressed Jiu Yuana's face, Lu Yuan's eyes were filled with gentleness. Please take pity on me. Jiu Yuana closed her purple eyes slightly. A faint smile appeared on Lu Yuan's face as he gently planted a kiss on Jiu Yuana's lips. Suddenly, the curtains were warmed, and they felt like spring. Chapter 901. Dragon King Palace. In the small courtyard where Lu Yuan and the others were staying, there was a pavilion in the middle of the small courtyard. Hulena, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong were all there. The 3 of them were drinking tea and chatting. I thought Abuchi was just joking. I didn't expect that 2 days had really passed. The most important thing is that the 2 of them still haven't come out. It's really scary. Hulena said softly with a trace of fear on her pretty face. The fighting strength of the 2 of them was really terrifying. I suddenly feel a little sorry for Abuchi. As his woman, I can't even satisfy him. Zhu Zhuqing took a sip of tea and said softly, What's there to be sorry about? Didn't we allow him to find a few more girlfriends? Hulena said indifferently. That's right, and there are many girls who like Abuchi now. Don't you think Dugu Yang and Yi Lingling from the Dragon King Palace have feelings for Abuchi? It's just that Abuchi doesn't have any interaction with them at all, and he doesn't have the intention to. Ning Rongrong added. Listening to your thoughts, do you still want him to find another one? Anyway, I don't want to. Bibidon is even more strongly against it. Chihiro Snow definitely doesn't want to either. There are enough people now. Zhu Zhuqing said. Actually, I don't want to either. It's fine now. If there are new people, I don't know if they will be as easy to get along with as you guys. Moreover, teacher is very possessive. It's impossible for Abuchi to find another one. Helena shook her head and said. I didn't expect Abuchi to have taken the current pope. He's really amazing. No wonder he flirted with the pope during the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament. It turns out that he has liked her for a long time. Ning Rongrong praised. Don't you find it surprising and hard to accept? A teacher-student relationship. Helena looked at Ning Rongrong with a surprised expression. Ning Rongrong didn't seem to care at all. What's so hard to accept? There's no blood connection, and it's not incest. It's just a teacher-student relationship. It's very normal. There have been many such cases in the history of the Douluo continent. Ning Rongrong said indifferently. She was known as the Little Witch, so she was much more open-minded than the average person. However, in the Douluo continent, the strong were revered. As long as it didn't violate the taboo of one's bloodline, a master-disciple relationship wasn't a big deal. It was not like Yu Xiaogang and Liu Erlong, where brother-sister love was taboo. However, it seemed that Liu Erlong was now with Flender. By the way, how are Lu Yuan and Jiu Yuana doing? Helena asked with concern. They're all right. The entire room is filled with 9-colored light, and there's also the sound of dragon roars. However, their auras are very strong, so they should be in good condition. Zhu Zhuqing said. Jiu Yuana is amazing. She can actually fight with Abuchi for so long. It seems that Abuchi will only favor her in the future. Helena sighed. No, he's not that kind of person. However, it's certain that he'll accompany her more often. Zhu Zhuqing said in an indifferent voice. You're right. I just don't know when they'll come out. Helena blinked her eyes and said in an indifferent voice. It should be soon, Zhu Zhuqing murmured softly. In Lu Yuan's room. Rich 9-colored light enveloped the entire room, and a powerful dragon's might exuded a terrifying pressure. On a large bed, Lu Yuan and Jiu Yuana were tightly hugging each other. Looking at the beautiful face that was close to him, Lu Yuan's eyes shone, and he praised, you're so beautiful. Haven't you seen enough? You've been looking at me for so long. Jiu Yuana asked softly. The two of them had been in close contact for more than 2 days. How could I have seen enough? Even if I looked at you for a lifetime, it wouldn't be enough, Lu Yuan said with a smile. You sure know how to make me happy. Jiu Yuana blinked her purple eyes and said with a faint smile. I'm not trying to make you happy. I'm just telling the truth, Lu Yuan retorted. Then, am I beautiful or are they beautiful? Am I beautiful or do they have a better figure? Jiu Yuana asked. Well, in terms of looks, you're the most beautiful, but Zhu Qing has the best figure. Although your figure isn't as prominent as Zhu Qing's, your proportions are the most perfect. I like it very much. I really like it. Lu Yuan looked at Jiu Yuana from head to toe and said softly. PFFF. Jiu Yuana couldn't help but burst into laughter when she heard Lu Yuan emphasize that he liked it very much. Jiu Yuana was actually very happy that this guy liked her body so much. This meant that her charm was very great. My you're really beautiful. Even the word devastatingly beautiful isn't enough to describe your beauty. Lu Yuan sighed softly, reached out his index finger, and gently lifted Jiu Yuana's pure white chin, carefully sizing her up. Do you still want to continue looking at me like that? Jiu Yuana asked with a faint smile. I do want to, but we've already spent a lot of time. If we don't go out now, they'll be waiting anxiously. Zhu Qing has already come to see us several times, but unfortunately, we still haven't been able to determine a victor after such a long time. Lu Yuan sighed softly, as if he was feeling regretful that he couldn't defeat Gu Yuana. Looks like we'll have to compete a few more times in the future. I'll definitely beat you, Lu Yuan said with a determined expression. That depends on whether you have the ability or not, Gu Yuana retorted without fear. Sooner or later, I'll completely conquer you, little girl. Lu Yuan snorted and then gave Gu Yuana a fierce peck on her cherry lips. Get up, let's go out for a meal. I'm a little hungry. Lu Yuan got up and looked at Gu Yuana and said, En. Gu Yuana replied and then nodded gently. After the two cleaned up, they walked out of the room hand in hand. Both of them hadn't slept for more than 2 days, but they were still full of energy. Lu Yuan was dressed in white and had an elegant temperament. Gu Yuana was dressed in a long silver dress and had a graceful figure. Their fingers were intertwined as they walked. They were a perfect match. Especially Gu Yuana, who had just had sex, had a charm that she didn't have before, which made her look even more charming. The two of them walked out of the room and into the small courtyard. Oh, you guys actually came out. It's rare. Who won? Helena asked curiously as soon as she saw the two of them. Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong couldn't help but cast a curious look at them. The victor hasn't been determined yet, Lu Yuan replied. Then why did you come out? Continue. How can the victor not be determined? Helena said. I'm hungry. Try not eating for 2 days and doing strenuous exercise. It's very exhausting. Lu Yuan curled his lips and said. I can't try it. I'm not as abnormal as you guys. I'm simply inhuman, Helena said lightly. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing nodded in agreement. Chapter 902. These two people are indeed not human. Ordinary people can last for more than 2 days, and the reason why they came out early was because they were hungry. Their eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. Not human. Lu Yuan froze for a moment and looked at Gu Yuana. Both of them had a strange look in their eyes at the same time. Helena is right, these two are really not human. But even so, Lu Yuan will definitely not admit it. Some people can't do it and actually say that we are not human. Sigh, people's hearts are not what they used to be. Lu Yuan sighed softly, as if he was thinking about something. Who are you saying can't do it? As soon as this remark came out, Helena immediately asked unconvinced. That's right. Zhu Zhuqing on the side also voiced out. Although they can't beat Lu Yuan, they are unhappy that they can't do it. I'm talking about you too. Why? Not convinced. If you're not convinced, then let's fight. You two can come together. A fox and a cat want to overturn the sky? Lu Yuan said indifferently, with a hint of disdain in his tone. Creak. Helena gritted her teeth in anger at being looked down upon by Lu Yuan. Zhu Zhuqing also glared at Lu Yuan, her pair of big black and white eyes were full of unyielding flames. What are you doing? You want to bite me? Friendly reminder, I am invulnerable. The ones who will suffer if you bite me are you. Looking at Helena gritting her teeth, Lu Yuan said indifferently. This is really too much. I can't take it anymore. I don't believe that this guy can be so powerful after just 2 days. Zhuqing, do you want to fight together? Helena said to Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing hesitated for a moment, but when she saw Lu Yuan's disdainful expression, she couldn't help but feel a flame in her heart and nodded slightly. Me too, I have been waiting for a long time. Hearing the two women's words, Ning Rongrong quickly raised her hand and said. Then I'll add you in. Smelly Abuchi, do you dare to accept the challenge? Helena waved her hand and asked heroically. Just the 3 of you? Why wouldn't I dare? Lu Yuan said disdainfully. Come on then. Helena snorted and directly grabbed Lu Yuan's arm to drag him into the room. Hey, don't worry, I haven't eaten yet. Lu Yuan grabbed Helena's hand and said softly. You still want to eat? Dream on. Helena said indifferently. She pulled Lu Yuan's hand and was about to leave. What a joke. They had finally found Lu Yuan's weakest moment, and it was even 3 against 1. How could they not take advantage of this opportunity to defeat Lu Yuan? If they missed today, they might not have such a good opportunity in the future. That's right, that's right. There's no hurry to eat. Let's get down to business first. Ning Rongrong smiled and grabbed Lu Yuan's other arm. It was finally her turn. She didn't want to wait for even a minute. Sigh, a bunch of female hooligans. They can't wait. Lu Yuan sighed and was directly pulled away by the two women. Zhu Zhuqing followed behind them with a cold face. Only Jiyu Yuana was left alone in the pavilion with a confused look on her face. What's going on? Jiyu Yuana didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The sun was setting in the west. Lu Yuan came to the dining room alone. The dining room was very spacious at this moment. The table was already filled with dishes, but only Jiyu Yuana and Wang Chua were sitting. Brother. Seeing Lu Yuan come, Wang Chua called out. Then, she quickly ran forward and threw herself into Lu Yuan's arms. Lu Yuan smiled warmly when he saw Wang Chua. After that, he rubbed her head gently. Where are they? Looking at Lu Yuan, Jiyu Yuana was a little curious and asked. They're all lying in bed. They really think that I'm exhausted and don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. 3 against 1, still completely defeated. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Then let's continue tonight. Jiyu Yuana smiled gently. Forget it. I've used up too much energy. You've also rested for an entire day. You're already fully recovered. I'm afraid that I won't be able to defeat you. Let me rest for a night. Lu Yuan said softly. When it's time to admit defeat, it's time to admit defeat. Jiyu Yuana is a great enemy that he has to go all out against. He can't be careless. You're afraid too. Jiyu Yuana laughed. This isn't fear. This is my recognition of you. You're an opponent worthy of respect. Lu Yuan said in a serious tone. Fat. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Jiyu Yuana couldn't help but laugh. This guy is really funny. Alright, stop talking nonsense. Come and eat. You should be hungry too. Jiyu Yuana said. I've been starving for a long time. Although my pseudo-godly body is more powerful than an ordinary level 3 godly body, it's still not a godly body. I still need to eat. Man is iron, rice is steel. This sentence is not wrong. Lu Yuan said as he pulled Wang Chua to sit down together. Wang Chua sat on Lu Yuan's left, while Jiyu Yuana happened to sit on Lu Yuan's right. Your pseudo-godly body is now only one step away from a real godly body. In fact, you can already use the 2 layers of the Golden Dragon's origin energy in the Golden Dragon right arm bone to forge a godly body. Jiyu Yuana said softly as she picked up some food with her chopsticks and gave it to Lu Yuan. No hurry. Let me completely digest the new Ice and Fire Dragon King wings first before forging a godly body. It's safer that way. Lu Yuan shook his head and said, You're right. Jiyu Yuana nodded and said, You're right. It's better to be safe. Speaking of the Golden Dragon right arm bone, I thought of something. Chua, do you want a present? Lu Yuan smiled as he looked at Wang Chua beside him. What present? Wang Chua looked at Lu Yuan with her big, pinkish blue eyes. She was very curious. It's this. Lu Yuan smiled and moved his chair back slightly. He extended his hand, and a 3-meter-long bright golden spear appeared in Lu Yuan's hand. Golden Dragon Spear? Wang Chua recognized the spear immediately. That's the Golden Dragon Spear. I'm giving it to you. Besides me, only you can use it. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. I can't accept it. This is my weapon. If I give it to you, I won't have a weapon to use. Wang Chua shook her head. She was unwilling to accept the Golden Dragon Spear. Don't worry about me. I have a weapon too. Look. A faint smile appeared on Lu Yuan's face as another golden jade spear that was around 3 meters in length appeared in his hand. Furthermore, the aura emanating from this spear was far more powerful than that of his Golden Dragon Spear. Is that your Dragon Emperor's Draining Spring Spear? Jiyu Yuana was a little surprised as she looked at the spear in Lu Yuan's hand. Yes, this spear was forged from the bones of a young true dragon. It also recognizes its owner. Only I can use it. Chapter 903. This spear weighs 129,600 kilograms, and it can change its weight at will. It has many special characteristics, and it's indestructible. Most importantly, it can evolve, and its potential is limitless. There shouldn't be any supradivine weapon in the world today that can beat it. Lu Yuan said gently. What a good spear. It's indeed much stronger than the golden dragon spear and my silver dragon spear. No wonder it's forged from the bones of a true dragon. Jiu Yuana couldn't help but praise the Dragon Emperor Spring Spear as she looked at it from a close distance. The quality of this spear surpassed all the supradivine weapons that she had seen before. Do you want to take a look? Lu Yuan asked Jiu Yuana. Aren't you the only one who can use it? Jiu Yuana asked. Yes, I'm the only one who can use it, but that doesn't mean you can't hold it. There's no conflict, and it won't resist you with my permission. This spear is very spiritual. Come, say hello to Na. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Lu Yuan had just finished speaking when the Dragon Emperor Spring Spear lit up, and a bright golden light flickered. What a godly spear! Jiu Yuana couldn't help but exclaim when she saw this. Not to mention other things, just this spirituality was really amazing. It's not bad, right? Come, take a look. Lu Yuan passed the Dragon Emperor Spring Spear to her. Jiu Yuana took it and examined it before returning it to Lu Yuan. She said, it's a good spear, but it's repelling me. Just like you said, no one can use it except you. Lu Yuan smiled. With a thought, the Dragon Emperor Draining Spring Spear returned to his body. Is Chou willing to take the Golden Dragon Spear now? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. Yes. Thank you, brother. You're the best. Wang Chou's smile was like a flower. She pecked Lu Yuan on the cheek before she happily took the Golden Dragon Spear. Just like how the Golden Dragon Spear was very convenient for Lu Yuan, the Golden Dragon Spear was also the most suitable weapon for Wang Chou. Wang Chou was delighted as she sized up the Golden Dragon Spear. Lu Yuan was in a good mood when he sensed Wang Chou's delight. Chou, put it away first. It's time to eat. Lu Yuan said. All right, elder brother. Wang Chou put away her Golden Dragon Spear and started to eat with Lu Yuan. Aren't we going to wait for them? Jiu Yuana asked. Bring a portion to them later. These three girls refused to admit defeat. I couldn't even show them any mercy. All of them are lying on the bed and don't want to get up. Perhaps they were provoked by you. They're afraid that I'll spoil you most of the time and neglect them. These three silly girls. Lu Yuan said helplessly. Would you do that? You dote on me most of the time? Jiu Yuana asked expectantly. No, I'll try my best to take care of all of them. I won't be biased towards any one of them. Lu Yuan shook his head and said. Sometimes, I really don't like your honesty. Can't you coax me a little? However, on the other hand, your honesty makes me feel at ease. Jiu Yuana said coquettishly. Coax you? I can coax you and dote on you. Come, open your mouth. I'll feed you. Lu Yuan picked up a piece of meat and brought it to Jiu Yuana's mouth as he spoke softly. Jiu Yuana looked at him in amusement. After that, she opened her mouth and ate the piece of meat. How's the taste? Lu Yuan asked. Not bad. Jiu Yuana smiled. Another 2 days later, in the morning. What are you doing? Why aren't you sleeping? Why are you daydreaming here? Jiu Yuana hugged Lu Yuan's neck with her snow-white arms. She moved her face closer to Lu Yuan and exhaled. You're awake? Lu Yuan asked. Yes, but the three of them are still sleeping. Jiu Yuana said softly as she pointed at Hulena and the other two girls. Their bodies are still a little weak. They can't be compared to us. They must have been tired last night. Let them rest a little more. Lu Yuan said softly. He raised his right hand slightly and a white light enveloped their bodies. Immediately, the three of them slept even more soundly. Your cleansing divine power is quite useful. Jiu Yuana laughed softly. It's all right, Lu Yuan said. What are you thinking about? You were so engrossed just now. Jiu Yuana asked curiously. Lu Yuan hugged Jiu Yuana's delicate body and played with a strand of her soft silver hair. He said softly, I was thinking if I should tell everyone about Di Tian and the others and create a savage beast leaderboard. This way, the soul masters will know how powerful soul beasts are. In the future, there should be fewer soul masters hunting 100,000-year soul beasts. Create a savage beast leaderboard? When she heard Lu Yuan's words, Jiu Yuana was stunned. However, she quickly reacted. Creating a savage beast leaderboard is fine. It can intimidate many people and prevent them from being blinded by greed. It's fine if they die, but it won't be good if they disturb the soul beast's cultivation. Jiu Yuana said. Then do you agree with my suggestion? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. Of course I agree. As long as it's something you want to do, I'll support you. Furthermore, this isn't a bad thing. Jiu Yuana laughed. My is so obedient. You have the characteristics of a good wife and mother. You're the most obedient among them. In order to reward you, I've decided to give birth to a little dragon god with you. Lu Yuan smiled and pressed Jiu Yuana down. The savage beast leaderboard. Recently, the entire continent had been stirred up because of this leaderboard. The Dragon King Hall's Wild Beast leaderboard shocked all the soul masters on the continent when it was released. No one expected there to be so many powerful soul beasts on the Douluo continent. Everyone thought that 100,000-year soul beasts were already very frightening and were legendary existences. However, no one expected there to be savage beasts above them. The details of the savage beast leaderboard were as follows, categorized according to fighting strength. Number 1, Beast God Di Tian. Super Savage Beast, Golden-Eyed Black Dragon King. Cultivation, 850,000 years. Controls the power of extreme darkness. Possesses the ultimate skill, Dragon God's Claw. Overall strength, Demigod. Comes from the Great Star Do Forest's core region. Number 2, Deep Sea Devil Whale King. Million-year soul beast. About to cultivate a godly body. Overall strength, Demigod. Comes from the Devil Whale Sea region. Number 3, Evil Eye Tyrant King. 780,000-year soul beast. Excels in spiritual power. Overall strength, limits. Possesses the ultimate skill, Spacetime Light. Comes from the evil demon forest of the Sun-Moon continent. 4th place, the Ice Sky Snow Lady, also known as the Snow Empress. A 690,000-year soul beast with the ultimate snow element, a mutated version of ultimate ice. Her ultimate skills are the Snow Empress' 3 ultimate techniques. One of the 3 heavenly kings of the extreme north. Number 5, Bear Lord. His original form is the Dark Golden Terraclaw Bear. 450,000-year soul beast. His ultimate skills are the Skytear Claw and Dark Golden Terraclaw. Overall strength, limits. Comes from the Great Star Do Forest's core region. Chapter 904. 6th place, Myriad Demon King. His original form is a demonic eye tree. He is the strongest plant-type soul beast with a cultivation of 510,000 years. His overall strength is comparable to a rank 98 Douluo. He comes from the core region of the Great Star Do Forest. Number 7, the Ice Empress. Her original form is the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion. She's a 380,000-year savage beast. Her element is ultimate ice. She's one of the 3 heavenly kings of the extreme north. Her overall strength is comparable to a rank 98 Douluo. Rank 8, Scarlet King. True form, Cerberus. Fire type. 280,000-year savage beast. His overall strength is comparable to a rank 97 Transcendent Douluo. He comes from the core region of the Great Star Do Forest. Rank 9, Demonic Infernal Dragon King, 270,000-year-old Great Beast. Its overall strength is comparable to a rank 97 Hyper Douluo, and it hails from the core region of the Great Star Do Forest. 10th rank, Yarrow Ling, a 260,000-year savage beast. Its overall strength is comparable to a rank 97 titled Douluo. It comes from the core region of the Great Star Do Forest. Number 11. Titan Snow Devil King, one of the 3 heavenly kings of the extreme north, a 250,000-year savage beast. His overall strength is comparable to a rank 97 titled Douluo. Number 12. Ice Bear King, a 240,000-year savage beast. His overall strength is comparable to a rank 97 titled Douluo. He comes from the extreme north. 13th place, Bai Ji. Her original form is an emerald swan, a 550,000-year soul beast. Her cultivation is equivalent to a rank 98 Douluo, but her fighting strength isn't outstanding because she's a healer. She's from the Great Star Do Forest's core region. Note, the ranking above is mainly based on the continent. There are many sea spirit beasts, but they are hidden too deeply. It is not easy to count them. Therefore, only the most famous deep-sea demon whale king is recorded. There may be other ferocious beasts that are hidden deeply in the continent. That was all the content of the list. It could be said that this list included almost all the famous dire beasts on the continent. This was especially so after seeing this list. The various great powers were extremely fearful of the Great Star Do Forest. There were a total of 13 savage beasts on the list, and 7 of them were in the Great Star Do Forest's core region. Instantly, the Great Star Do Forest's core region became a forbidden area in the hearts of many organizations on the continent, unless they wanted to die. Even the entire Martial Soul Palace wouldn't be able to take them down. It was simply terrifying. Then there was the extreme north. There were 4 great beasts there, and one of them, the Snow Emperor, was comparable to a limit Douluo. It was another place that couldn't be touched. The most shocking ones were the Deep-Sea Devil Whale King and the Evil Eye Tyrant King. The Deep-Sea Devil Whale King was chosen because of its identity as a million-year soul beast, while the Evil Eye Tyrant King was chosen because of its location. The Sun-Moon continent was a name that no one had ever heard of before. However, it was clear that there was another continent called the Sun-Moon continent in this world aside from the Douluo continent. No one doubted the authenticity of the list because it was published by the Dragon King Palace and supported by the imperial family of Heaven Do. It was absolutely credible. Because of this, many forces were shocked. Lu Yuan had purposely spread the news about the Sun-Moon continent. Furthermore, he had spread news about the Holy Ghost Church, as well as their ambition to take over the Douluo continent. This was because they were destined to fight the Holy Ghost Church in the future, and this battle was unavoidable. Therefore, it was better to let the various powers on the continent know about the Sun-Moon continent's existence in advance so that they could prepare. This way, they wouldn't be caught off guard and cause panic when the time came. In any case, the Heaven Do Empire was already in his grasp, and the unification of the continent was just around the corner. There were some things that he didn't need to hide anymore. Now that the Great Beast list is out, we should be preparing to go to the Sea God's Island next, right? Bibidon asked gently as she lay in Lu Yuan's arms and looked at Lu Yuan with her beautiful eyes. Lu Yuan had asked her to bring him back because they were going to the Sea God's Island. Yes, we're going to the Sea God's Island. We won't be back for a while, so you came back to accompany me for a while, right? Bibidon asked. Yes, my Douluo is smart. You know what I want to say. Lu Yuan gently stroked Bibidon's long purple hair and smiled warmly. You little bastard. Can't you settle down for a while? You're always running around. Bibidon sighed. I don't want to either. There's always something pushing me around. Lu Yuan sighed. As soon as he finished speaking, a cold voice rang out in Lu Yuan's mind. Ding. Mission issued. Check-in location, Sea God's Island. Check-in time, 3 months. Check-in reward, 1x Soulbone Fusion Card, 1x 100,000-year 8-tailed illusion fox. Soulbone Fusion Card. You can fuse different soul bones. When you use it, you can absorb another soul bone from an area where you've already absorbed a soul bone. Or, you can fuse 2 soul bones into a new one. There's no limit to the age of the soul bone. Soulbone Fusion Card? That's good. With it, I can absorb another left arm bone, right? Beautiful, very beautiful. This way, it'll be possible to absorb all the god-tier soul bones. Although the chances are slim, it's still very good. As for the 8-tailed illusion fox, it should be prepared for Nana. After all, she's already rank 69. She's not far from becoming a soul sage. Lu Yuan thought to himself. Seeing that Lu Yuan was in a daze, Bibidon couldn't help but pat his arm and ask, "What are you thinking about? Why are you so engrossed?" After being patted by Bibidon, Lu Yuan came back to his senses. He looked at Bibidon's jade-like cheeks and smiled. "I'm thinking about my Dong-er. If we have a child, will it be a boy or a girl? You only know how to talk nonsense. But do you prefer a boy or a girl?" Bibidon asked. "A boy," Lu Yuan said. "Why? Aren't girls cute and considerate?" Bibidon was a little puzzled. Cute and considerate. But when I think about my cute and considerate daughter being taken away by some bastard, my heart aches. A boy is better. Even if he's a little naughty and infuriating, at least he can bring other people's daughters to his home. Ah, that's very comfortable. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Twisted logic. I think you just like to take advantage of others. Bibidon said with a smile. It's a twisted logic. In fact, to be honest, I like both boys and girls. As long as you give birth to them, I'll spoil them. Caressing Bibidon's pretty face, Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. Hearing this, Bibidon's pretty face blushed, but her pink eyes were shining. It was obvious that Lu Yuan's words were very useful to her. Suddenly, Bibidon let out a cry of surprise. Her whole body was lifted up in the air by Lu Yuan. Bibidon quickly reached out and wrapped her arms around Lu Yuan's neck. Little bastard, are you trying to scare me to death? Always sneak attacks. Bibidon hammered Lu Yuan and said angrily. Hee hee. Lu Yuan laughed and did not answer. He carried Bibidon and walked into the room. At this time, how could Bibidon not know what he wanted to do? Her pretty face was slightly red, but there was a trace of expectation in her eyes. If she could give birth to a child for Lu Yuan, it should be a very happy thing. Bibidon thought in her heart. Chapter 905. In the blink of an eye, another half a month had passed. During this half a month, Lu Yuan accompanied Bibidon all day long. The two of them were glued to each other like glue, and their relationship had improved a lot. Perhaps the only problem was that Bibidon would always intentionally or unintentionally reveal that she wanted to be the head of the harem. After all, she was the empress, and she had always been the one in charge of others. She had long been used to this kind of life, but she was the last one to come to Lu Yuan's place. The others, such as Hu Liana, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong, didn't need to be mentioned. Although they came before her, the three of them didn't have that kind of big bearing, and Bibi Dong didn't treat them as competitors. Although Jiu Yuana's power was restrained, mysterious, and noble, she did not like to get involved in these things, so she would not compete with Bibidon for the position of the head of the harem. Her only opponent was Chihiro Snow. She was Lu Yuan's first woman, and also the head of the harem in Lu Yuan's heart. However, the relationship between Chihiro Snow and Bibidon was quite complicated. Although the two of them were not related by blood, they used to be nominally called each other. Therefore, even without mentioning Bibidon's identity as the Pope, Bibidon would not be willing to bow down to Chihiro Snow. In addition, Bibidon's bearing and habits as the Pope had been cultivated for many years, and she was even more unwilling to have someone above her head. The night was dark, and the time was about 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. Abuchi. Bibidon lay on Lu Yuan's chest, and her pink eyes blinked, and her big watery eyes were particularly moving. At this moment, Bibidon had taken off her noble papal robe and purple gold crown, and her long purple hair was draped over her shoulders. Her beautiful jade-like face was so beautiful, and her rosy little mouth was very close to Lu Yuan. When she spoke softly, there was a fragrance like orchids, and it was very pleasant. Dong-er, stop messing around. I won't agree to it. Lu Yuan shook his head, his expression firm. Why is that? If I become the emperor, I will definitely manage your harem better. Look at the martial soul palace, isn't it thriving under my management? Bibidon moved a little closer. Her red lips were almost touching Lu Yuan's lips, and the orchid-like musk became even stronger. This is different, and the current atmosphere is very good. I don't want to change it. Dong don't stir up trouble, okay? Lu Yuan said softly, looking into Bibidon's eyes. There was a faint helplessness in his eyes. When he first got together with Bibidon, he did not consider this point. At that time, Bibidon was very well behaved and did not cause much trouble. It was not until he completely had sex with Bibidon and proved that she was clean. Slowly, Bibidon began to change. The closer the relationship between the two, the bolder she became. Until now, she had already pestered Lu Yuan to become the emperor. I don't want to stir up trouble, little man. I am the dignified His Holiness the Pope. Do you want me to be the little one? Bibidon raised her head slightly, raised her snow-white swan neck, and said arrogantly, "So what if you are the Pope? In front of me, you are just my little woman." Lu Yuan pulled Bibidon into his arms, pressed her little head down, and blocked her cherry lips directly. Bibidon also began to fight back, not to be outdone. Half an hour later, Lu Yuan let go of Bibidon's red lips. Lu Yuan's expression was normal, but Bibidon was panting a little hurriedly, and her chest rose and fell slightly. Today, Lu Yuan's physique was as strong as a divine body. Although Bibidon's soul power was high, her physique was far inferior to Lu Yuan's. The two kissed for half an hour. Lu Yuan was fine, but Bibidon was a little overwhelmed. "Are you convinced?" Looking at Bibidon's slightly red face and panting, Lu Yuan asked with a chuckle. "I'm not convinced." Bibidon gritted her teeth and said stubbornly, "How could she be someone who would give in so easily?" "I will be the empress," Bibidon said word by word. "Not convinced? Then let's do it again." With that, Lu Yuan blocked Bibidon's red lips again. Another half an hour passed. Bibidon's chest rose and fell violently, and she gasped for breath. She stared at Lu Yuan with her pink eyes, and her eyes were full of unyielding. "Is there a need? Is it that important to be the empress? Isn't it just a title? It doesn't have any practical meaning. Do you think you can command them if you become the empress? Let's not talk about other things. Na definitely won't listen to you. She only listens to me. So what's there to fight about?" Lu Yuan said softly as he gently caressed Bibidon's beautiful face. "Since it's not that important, why aren't you willing to give it to me? You know that I care about this. Other than you, I don't want anyone else to be above me." Bibidon said softly. She was proud in her heart. Other than Lu Yuan, she didn't want anyone else to be above her. It was hard to change a habit formed over many years. "I'm above you. Since when am I above you? You probably want to be the empress so that you can control me better. Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking, Your Holiness the Pope," Lu Yuan said with a faint smile as he lifted Bibidon's chin. It wasn't like he didn't see the strong possessiveness in Bibidon's eyes. This woman had an extremely strong personality. She wanted to be the empress because she didn't want anyone to be above her, and also because she wanted to control him better. "I've never thought of controlling you. I just don't want you to be a playboy anymore. Since you can guarantee this, it shouldn't be difficult. Moreover, isn't it good to make me the empress? Don't I have that kind of bearing?" "I believe that Nana and Zhu Qing won't object," Bibidon said. "You do have that kind of bearing. Nana, Zhu Qing, and even Rong Rong might not have any objections because they don't care about this at all. But what about Cher? How can she not care? Moreover, this is her position. I already owe her a lot. I don't want her to be wronged anymore." Lu Yuan sighed. "Then you choose to wrong me, right? You heartless little bastard. How many storms and dangers have I experienced with you? How much pressure have I endured? You don't remember all these, do you? Which one of them endured more than me when they were with you? Do you know how complicated my heart was for this love? Sometimes, I was on the verge of breaking down. Do you know?" Bibidon asked loudly. "I remember, I know, and I understand your feelings. Because it wasn't only you who felt complicated and painful. My heart was also complicated, painful, and struggling at that time. But Dong why did you get together with me in the first place? Isn't it for love? Isn't it because I love you and you love me? Is it because you want to be the empress? Did you come for the empress from the beginning? Lu Yuan asked. Chapter 906. Hearing this, Bibidon was silent for a moment. When she first got together with Lu Yuan, it was purely for the sake of love. She didn't think so much about it. But now, all the obstacles between her and Lu Yuan had been removed, and the two of them were together. Only then did she slowly consider these things. Although Chihiro Snow still didn't know that she and Lu Yuan were together, ever since he knew that she and Lu Yuan had her first time, proving that she and Chihiro Snow had nothing to do with each other, she didn't care much about Chihiro Snow. Even if Chihiro Snow knew, she didn't care much. Originally, because of those false memories, she didn't like Chihiro Snow very much. She even loathed him. It was only because she thought that Chihiro Snow was born by her and had a blood connection with Chihiro Snow that she still had a high position in her heart. But now it was proven that she and Chihiro Snow had nothing to do with each other. Even her first time was given to Lu Yuan. Without that blood connection, her care for Chihiro Snow had dropped a lot. It was only because of their nominal relationship over the years that she cared about him a little. However, compared to Lu Yuan's love, Ji Yunyenji's love was insignificant. With the possessiveness in her heart, coupled with her personality, she naturally had thoughts about the position of the main empress. Dong-er, answer me. Are you with me because you want to be the main wife? Lu Yuan asked faintly as he lifted Bibidon's chin. No, I was with you because I loved you. Bibidon shook her head and said softly. Hearing Bibidon's words, Lu Yuan was overjoyed. However, before he could be happy too early, Bibidon's voice sounded again. And I still love you now. I love you very much, so I want to be the main wife even more. Bibidon said seriously. Hearing this, Lu Yuan's mouth twitched. He was dumbfounded. He really didn't expect Bibidon to say such a thing. And after listening to his words just now, Bibidon's attitude of wanting to be the empress seemed to be even more determined. This really made him want to cry but have no tears. The more he tried to persuade, the worse it would be. So promise me, okay? I know that my Abuchi listens to me the most, Bibidon said softly as he gently stroked Lu Yuan's face. Do you really want to be the empress? Lu Yuan's eyes turned slightly, and an idea popped into his mind. Yes, I do. Bibidon nodded. Hearing that Lu Yuan's tone had loosened a little, she could not help but feel a little happy in her heart as she hurriedly said. If you want to be the main wife, sure, but only if you can beat me. Lu Yuan smirked and covered Bibidon's lips with his. Then, he flipped him over and pinned him under his body. The next morning. It seems that you can't beat me, so don't mention the matter of being the main wife anymore. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile as he brushed away a strand of messy hair on Bibidon's forehead. Although Bibidon was much stronger than Hulena and the others, it was impossible for her to subdue Lu Yuan. After a battle, she was finally subdued by Lu Yuan. I don't accept it. Why? Chihiro Snow can't beat you. Why can she be the main wife? Bibidon stared at Lu Yuan with her beautiful pink eyes and questioned. But she came first. She was the main wife, and you came later. If you can't prove that you are stronger than her, then why should I let you be the main wife? Don't you think so? Lu Yuan said with a slight smile as he pinched Bibidon's face. Yes, my ass, you bastard. Bibidon slapped Lu Yuan's hand away, her face full of anger. In the end, after going around in circles, she was still tricked by Lu Yuan. If she wanted to be the main wife, she would have to beat him. Then she would have no hope in this lifetime. How could she possibly win against such an inhuman? You can't blame me. I gave you the chance, but you didn't have the ability. It has nothing to do with anyone. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. Bibidon snorted with a strong sense of indignation. Could it be that Your Holiness the Pope can't afford to lose? Lu Yuan asked with a smile as he looked at the indignation on Bibidon's face. Who can't afford to lose? If you lose, then you lose. If you don't want to be the main wife, then you won't be the main wife. But you bastard, I hate you. Don't even think about getting into my bed in the future. Bibidon said angrily. Hehe, I'm afraid it's not up to you. I'm going to do it. Lu Yuan laughed with an indifferent expression. Scoundrel, bastard. Bibidon cursed. All right, stop scolding. Take a rest. It won't be too late to scold me after you wake up. Don't tire yourself out. I'll go out and cook something for you to eat. Lu Yuan lowered his head and kissed Bibidon's forehead gently. Then he put on his clothes and turned to leave the room. Bastard, so what if you want me to be the main wife? Why do you favor Cher so much? If the food you cook isn't delicious, see how I'll ridicule you. Bibidon snorted, just like a young girl in love. It was said that love would lower a woman's IQ. This saying was true. Even the Empress Bibidon changed a lot after falling in love. Is it delicious? Lu Yuan asked with a chuckle as he watched Bibidon slowly eating the food he cooked. It's okay. Bibidon said lightly, but the chopsticks in her hand didn't stop. Originally, she planned to ridicule Lu Yuan as long as Lu Yuan's food wasn't delicious. However, she didn't expect Lu Yuan to be so good at cooking. She really couldn't do it against her will and say that it wasn't delicious. Oh, I didn't expect my Pope to have such a proud side. She obviously likes to eat, but she pretends not to care. She's a typical example of a person who doesn't care about what she says, but I like it. Her Majesty has a different kind of charm. Listening to Bibidon's words and watching her movements, Lu Yuan couldn't help but chuckle. Who wants you, little bastard, to like it? Bibidon was slightly happy in her heart, but she still said it indifferently. Who wants to know? Some people say they don't want to, but they're actually very happy. Just like sometimes when you say you don't want me to touch you, but your eyes are always hiding charming intentions to seduce me. Alas, can't you be a little more honest? Lu Yuan said with a sigh. Pardie. The chopsticks were directly slapped on the table by a lily-white hand. Bibidon's pair of beautiful eyes looked straight at Lu Yuan with anger. Say it again, who seduced you? Ahem, someone seduced me? No, you heard wrong just now. I said Dong you're so beautiful. After being stared at by Bibidon like this, Lu Yuan instantly became timid and said with a smile. Don't give me that. Don't think that words will work. If I don't give you some punishment, you'll never learn. Don't come to me tonight, you can sleep alone. Bibidon said lightly. Tonight? I'm planning to leave today. Lu Yuan sighed softly. What? Hearing this, Bibidon's heart trembled and couldn't help but exclaim. Chapter 907. What? You're leaving today? Why so soon? Why didn't you tell me in advance? Hearing the news that Lu Yuan was leaving, Bibidon couldn't help but exclaim and immediately asked 4 questions in a row. You can't bear for me to leave. Hearing Bibidon's slightly anxious 4 consecutive questions, Lu Yuan smiled slightly, sat beside Bibidon, and hugged her delicate body. Who can't bear for you to leave? If you want to leave, then leave. Who cares? After the exclamation, Bibidon came back to her senses. Hearing Lu Yuan's questions, she calmed down slightly and pretended not to care. However, her delicate body that was hugged by Lu Yuan didn't struggle at all. Instead, she quietly laid in Lu Yuan's arms. I know you're angry that you didn't become the main wife, and I also know that it's a bit unfair for you to be a concubine, but you have to be considerate of me. It's also very difficult for me. Cher has been with me from the beginning and never left me, but I opened a harem. I've already let her down. This position is the only one I can give her, so don't fight with her for it, okay? Slightly lowering his head, Lu Yuan's forehead touched Bibidon's forehead. The two looked at each other, and his eyes were full of gentleness. Then what if Cher uses her identity to suppress me in the future? I don't want to be ordered around by her. Bibidon blinked her beautiful eyes and said softly. No, Cher won't do that. Look at Zhuqing and Nana, aren't they fine now? Cher has never ordered them around. Besides, I'm still here. How can I let you be bullied? You're my one and only supreme pontiff. Looking at Bibidon's eyes, Lu Yuan said softly. Like hell I'll believe you. The moment you see Shui, You'll forget all about me. You still want to help me? I don't believe you. But since you're speaking so pitifully, I won't make things difficult for you. Little bastard, you better remember the compromises I made for you. Treat me better in the future. Bibidon stared at Lu Yuan and said with a serious face. Of course, you're my Dong. If I don't treat you well, who else can I treat well? Lu Yuan said gently. Don't coax me. You said the same thing to them, right? Man, I've seen through you long ago. Bibidon glanced at Lu Yuan and said indifferently. Hearing this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile bitterly. Bibidon was indeed the hardest to coax. Unlike Ning Rongrong, who was so happy that she couldn't find her bearings after a few words. However, compared to a slightly immature girl like Ning Rongrong, a mature woman like Bibidon was obviously more charming. Are you in such a hurry to leave today? Why don't you stay for 2 more days? I want to see you more. Bibidon spoke her mind. Although she seemed to be a little concerned about her identity because she was the Supreme Pontiff, in essence, she was still the same Bibidon who dared to love and hate. Now that there were no obstacles between her and Lu Yuan, she could openly express her love. Okay, it's rare to hear my Dong say such words of love. Then I'll accompany you for 2 more days. Lu Yuan smiled softly. Hearing this, Bibidon rolled her eyes at Lu Yuan, but didn't say anything. Instead, she lay in his arms and quietly enjoyed his warm embrace. Dong, call Evil Moon to the Supreme Pontiff Palace later. I want to see him. Lu Yuan said softly. Why do you suddenly want to see him? Bibidon glanced at Lu Yuan with a trace of doubt in her eyes. I promised Nana that I would take him to the Sea God Island, so I want to see him and ask him to go to the Dragon King Palace 2 days in advance. Otherwise, he won't be there when I go back. Lu Yuan said with a smile. He and Jiu Yuana could directly tear the space to go back. They could arrive there almost instantly, but Evil Moon couldn't. As for bringing Evil Moon along when tearing the space, Lu Yuan didn't even think about it. For this kind of thing, he would only bring his own woman and close relatives. As for Evil Moon, if it weren't for Hulena, Lu Yuan wouldn't even bother with him. I didn't expect Evil Moon to be so lucky. Okay, I'll ask him to go to the Supreme Pontiff Palace later. Bibidon said softly. Supreme Pontiff Palace. Bibidon sat high on the Supreme Pontiff's throne, holding the golden scepter in her hand. Lu Yuan stood beside her, leaning on the throne. The two were talking and laughing. Everyone in the palace was Bibidon's diehard fans. Seeing the intimate relationship between Lu Yuan and Bibidon, they all lowered their heads and pretended not to see it. Now the two of them didn't hide it anymore. It could be said that the people around Bibidon basically knew about their relationship. Only the people on Sendryu's side and Chihiro Snow didn't know. But sooner or later, they would know. Reporting to the Supreme Pontiff, Evil Moon of the Golden Generation is waiting outside. A paladin knight walked into the Supreme Pontiff Palace, knelt on one knee, and reported respectfully. Let him in. Bibidon said lightly. Yes, subordinate obeys. The paladin knight responded and retreated. Of the Golden Generation, the only one left should be Yang. How is he now? Hearing the paladin knight mention the Golden Generation, Lu Yuan suddenly thought of something and asked. I've already dealt with him. His jealousy was too strong. Because Nana was so hostile to you, he even secretly swore to take revenge on you. Such a scourge is useless. Not long after the Soul Master tournament ended, I secretly dealt with him. The Martial Soul Palace doesn't lack geniuses. Since he dared to resent you and view the next Supreme Pontiff as an enemy, there's no need to keep him. Bibidon said lightly. It turns out that my Dong is so considerate of me. I'm so happy. But Dong did you deal with him before or after I kissed you? Lu Yuan asked with a mischievous smile. After the Soul Master tournament, he kissed Bibidon. It was also from then on that his relationship with Bibidon officially began to change. He guessed that after he kissed Bibidon, Bibidon fell in love with him. Bibidon found out that Yang wanted to take revenge on him, so she directly got rid of him. After all, Bibidon's greatest strength was that she was extremely protective of her husband. Although she called Lu Yuan little bastard all day long, in her heart, Lu Yuan was more important than anything else. If anyone dared to have any thoughts of harming Lu Yuan, regardless of the reason, Bibidon would not hesitate to get rid of them. This was because of her personality. And this personality was something that Lu Yuan liked very much. After hearing Lu Yuan's question, Bibidon's face turned slightly red. She did not answer. Seeing this scene, Lu Yuan understood. It seemed that his guess was right. Ta ta ta. At this moment, a series of footsteps came from the Pope's palace. A young man stepped into the Pope's palace. Evil Moon greets the Supreme Pontiff. Chapter 908. Evil Moon pays respect to Your Highness the Pope. The young man knelt on one knee and saluted solemnly. It was Evil Moon. Well, get up. Bibidon's calm but powerful voice sounded. Thank you, Your Highness the Pope. Evil Moon thanked him again and got up from the ground. It has nothing to do with me. He is the one who is looking for you. Bibidon looked at Lu Yuan and said. Hearing this, Evil Moon's eyes moved to Lu Yuan. When he saw Lu Yuan's face clearly, he was shocked. Why are you in the Pope's palace? Evil Moon pointed at Lu Yuan with a horrified face. This was the Lord of the Dragon King Palace. How could he be in the Pope's palace? What was more surprising was that he seemed to be very familiar with the Pope and had a close relationship with him. Why can't I be in the Pope's palace? Looking at Evil Moon's surprised expression, Lu Yuan asked with a faint smile. Aren't you the Lord of the Dragon King Palace? The Dragon King Palace is very incompatible with our Martial Soul Palace. Has the Dragon King Palace now turned to our Martial Soul Palace? Evil Moon said with a wild imagination. You have a good imagination, but you are still wrong. I am here not because the Dragon King Palace has turned to the Martial Soul Palace, but because I am the Holy Son of the Martial Soul Palace. Understand? Lu Yuan said gently. The Holy Son of the Martial Soul Palace? You are the Holy Son? Evil Moon was stunned when he heard Lu Yuan's words. He could not believe that Lu Yuan was the Holy Son of the Martial Soul Palace. He is the Holy Son. The establishment of the Dragon King Palace is also for the great plan of the Martial Soul Palace. The two palaces are originally one family. Bibidon said lightly and made the final decision. Evil Moon pays his respects to Your Highness the Holy Son. Evil Moon now believed it. Bibidon had personally appointed him, so he had no choice but to believe it. Moreover, the mystery in his heart had been solved. No wonder Helena liked Lu Yuan. It turned out that the two of them were originally fellow apprentices. After a long period of close contact, coupled with Lu Yuan's peerless charm, it was normal for her to like Lu Yuan. However, he was still extremely shocked. The palace master of the Dragon King Palace was the Holy Son of the Martial Soul Palace. The two palaces were actually one. This news was too shocking. Moreover, Helena's mouth was really tight. Even her own brother didn't know that her beloved Lu Yuan was actually her junior brother. Instead, she was worried about her relationship. This sister of hers was really, however, although Helena's mouth was tight, she was really good to her brother. Back then, that stalk of grass had helped him a lot. Get up. Today is the first time we are meeting with our original identities, and on a proper occasion. I'll accept your bow. In the future, you don't have to bow to me in private. After all, you are Nana's brother, so you can be considered my brother-in-law. You don't have to be so formal. Lu Yuan stretched out his hand and said gently, Thank you, Your Highness the Holy Son. Evil Moon got up again and looked at Lu Yuan with a strange expression. It was hard for him to accept the rapid change in Lu Yuan's identity. Rank 62. Not bad. It seems that the 9 mysterious golden grass I gave you back then was not wasted. Your strength has improved a lot. Lu Yuan looked at Evil Moon's soul power and praised him softly. Thank you, Your Highness the Holy Son, for bestowing me with the immortal grass. Evil Moon bowed again and thanked him. How could he not know that the immortal grass Helena gave him was given by Lu Yuan? Because of that immortal grass, he had undergone a great transformation. He couldn't help but feel grateful to Lu Yuan. "You're welcome. Rank 62 is not bad. I don't know how strong you are now. I happen to be free today, so I can give you some pointers." Evil Moon was 1 year older than Helena and the same age as Chihiro Snow, which meant that he was 6 years older than Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan was 17 years old now, so Evil Moon was 23 years old. 23 years old to reach rank 62 was already considered very good. He was a promising talent. Because of Helena, Lu Yuan didn't mind giving him pointers again. After all, when he grew up, the Martial Soul Palace would have one more powerhouse. Evil Moon definitely had the potential to become a transcendent Douluo. "Thank you." Evil Moon wanted to thank him again, but he was interrupted by Lu Yuan as soon as he spoke. "Don't thank me again. Just keep it in mind. It's annoying to hear too much." Lu Yuan's indifferent words came out. "Yes, Your Highness the Holy Sun," Evil Moon replied. Lu Yuan stepped forward gently. As if he had shrunk the ground into an inch, he crossed the steps in one step and came to the hall. Evil Moon, who saw this scene, couldn't help but narrow his eyes. "Release your martial soul and let me see your strength." With his left hand behind his back, Lu Yuan said indifferently. As soon as he said this, Evil Moon immediately became serious. His eyes narrowed slightly, and his aura surged. His soul power burst forth, and a pair of crescent moon-like scimitars appeared in his hands. Under his body, 6 soul rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, shone brightly. These crescent moon-like scimitars were Evil Moon's martial soul, Moonblade. However, the Moonblade at this moment was different from before. It had changed a lot. The original Moonblade was blood red, but now it was golden. The golden blade shone with a cold light. Lu Yuan could clearly feel that the quality of this pair of Moonblades was very extraordinary. They were definitely the best among the top tool martial souls. There was no problem for them to surpass the clear sky hammer. "Golden Moonblade? You don't look too bad. Come on, show me your strongest move. Let me see your true strength." Looking at Evil Moon, Lu Yuan's voice sounded. "Sorry to offend your highness, Holy Sun," Evil Moon called out softly, and the 6th soul ring in front of him lit up directly. A pair of golden moonblades shone with a bright golden light. Evil Moon put his hands together, and the pair of golden moonblades merged into an even larger and sharper moonblade. Evil Moon held this moonblade and directly slashed at Lu Yuan. A domineering and sharp blade aura surged towards Lu Yuan. Great success in blade aura? Feeling the blade aura, a trace of surprise flashed through Lu Yuan's eyes. Evil Moon had just comprehended blade aura 2 years ago. 2 years later, his blade aura had reached the great success level. This talent was great. However, there was a natural chasm between intent and aura. Without help, it was impossible to cross it so easily. Lu Yuan estimated that Evil Moon would need at least another 5 years to comprehend blade intent, or maybe even 10 years. However, it was Evil Moon's good luck to meet him today. He would help him again. Facing Evil Moon's fierce slash, Lu Yuan raised his right hand and gently pinched the huge moonblade between his index and middle fingers. The sharp golden moonblade couldn't even cut the skin of Lu Yuan's fingers. The fierce and domineering blade aura on the moonblade was instantly broken by Lu Yuan's gentle pinch, and completely dissipated into nothingness. Chapter 909. Your attack is not bad, Lu Yuan said faintly. He flicked his finger gently, and his finger collided with the moonblade, making a crisp sound. Affected by the power of the flicking finger, Evil Moon directly retreated more than 10 meters. His hands trembled slightly, and the moonblade in his hand almost fell out of his hand. Looking at the calm Lu Yuan, the corners of Evil Moon's mouth showed a trace of bitterness. They had not seen each other for 2 years, and the gap between him and Lu Yuan had widened. Originally, he was already looking up to a high mountain, but now the gap was like a natural moat. Lu Yuan gave him only one impression, and that was that he was invincible. Is this what a true genius looks like? Evil Moon murmured softly in his heart. Compared with Lu Yuan, the so-called geniuses were too far behind. Saber momentum has reached the advanced level. It's not bad, but it's still far from breaking through to the essence realm. Lu Yuan's flat voice came into Evil Moon's ears. Your Highness, please guide me. Evil Moon said respectfully. Then watch carefully. I'll only use one finger, Lu Yuan said softly. He raised his index finger, moved his body, and pointed straight at Evil Moon. In an instant, Lu Yuan's aura changed abruptly. White light burst out from his jade-like finger, and a penetrating essence realm spread out, directly locking onto Evil Moon. That was Lu Yuan's spear essence. I can't avoid it. Feeling the locking power, Evil Moon suddenly trembled, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. In his perception, there seemed to be a divine spear directly locking onto him, and he could not escape or resist at all. He could only wait for death. This feeling made Evil Moon feel a little desperate. Now, after 2 years of meditation, Lu Yuan's advanced level of spear essence had been improved again. He had reached the consummation of spear essence and the level of half-step spear soul. He was only 1 step away from the spear soul realm. It would not be long before Lu Yuan could take this step and completely enter the spear soul realm. At that time, his strength would rise a lot again. The jade-like index finger seemed to break through the barrier of space and stopped directly between Evil Moon's eyebrows. The huge and overbearing spear intent enveloped him. Evil Moon's face was pale and fearful, but his eyes were shining slightly. Obviously, he had gained some enlightenment in front of this huge will. A quarter of an hour later, Lu Yuan withdrew his finger. Evil Moon, on the other hand, closed his eyes and sensed carefully. Another quarter of an hour passed, and Evil Moon opened his eyes again. There was more depth and sharpness in his eyes that had not been there before. Obviously, he had gained a lot. Thank you for your guidance, Your Highness. I will never forget it. If Your Highness has any requests in the future, I will definitely be at your service. Evil Moon said sincerely. It's good that you have the heart. This time, I called you here to give you pointers. I promised Nana that I would bring you to the Sea God's Island this time. Pack up and head to the Dragon King Palace immediately. When the time comes, we will set off directly from there. Don't ask about the details. Just go first. Nana will tell you later. Lu Yuan said faintly. Yes, Your Highness. Evil Moon replied. Well, you can go back now. At the same time, you can slowly digest this enlightenment and strive to comprehend Saber intent as soon as possible. This will be of great benefit to you. Lu Yuan waved his hand and said softly. Yes, Evil Moon will take his leave. Evil Moon bowed and then left. After Evil Moon left, Lu Yuan took a step and returned to Bibidan's side. This Evil Moon is a moldable talent. Although he can't be compared with Nana and the others, it won't be too difficult for him to become a transcendent Douluo in the future. He has also comprehended Saber Force. At the very least, it won't be a problem for him to stand shoulder to shoulder with the sword Douluo of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. Looking at Lu Yuan beside her, Bibidan opened her red lips slightly and said in a flat voice. That's true. Evil Moon's achievements in the future can surpass the sword Douluo. In the Martial Soul Palace, apart from the few of us, his talent is the strongest. Lu Yuan nodded and said affirmatively. Evil Moon's talent was not bad, and he had eaten the Joshuan Golden Emperor grass and embarked on the path of Intent Realm. His future achievements were still quite considerable. Well, Evil Moon has seen enough. Douluo, let's go back and make out. It's only 2 days. Time waits for no one. Lu Yuan chuckled. Amidst Bibidan's exclamation, he pulled her up and held her in his arms. His figure turned into a golden light and disappeared from the pontiff's palace. Everyone in the palace lowered their heads as if they didn't see anything. I'm leaving, Douluo. I didn't succeed in making a human these 2 days. When I come back from the Sea God's Island, we'll continue to make a little person. Looking at the spatial rift in front of them, Lu Yuan turned slightly, pinched Bibidan's cheek, and said with a faint smile. Bah, can't you be a little more serious? How can you say anything? There are people here. She glanced at Jiu Yuana before shifting her gaze back to Lu Yuan and grumbled playfully. It's okay. Na is not an outsider. It's okay if she hears. Lu Yuan smiled faintly and kissed Bibidon's red lips. I'm really leaving. Go, take care of yourself and take care of Na and the others. Bibidon said softly. I will. Don't worry. Lu Yuan nodded slightly, then turned around. Holding Jiu Yuana's hand, he stepped into the spatial rift in front of them and disappeared. Bibidon stared at the spatial rift that was slowly closing with a hint of reluctance. I hope you can come back soon, Abuchi, Bibidon murmured softly. Dragon King Hall. 2 days had passed since Lu Yuan returned. During these 2 days, Lu Yuan had been accompanying Chihiro Snow. After all, he had to inform Chihiro Snow before leaving. 2 days later, Lu Yuan and the others gathered at the entrance of the Dragon King Hall. Today was the day they set off. Besides Lu Yuan and his women, Hu Lena, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong, there were also Evil Moon, Du Gu Yang, Yi Lingling, Fu Qinsheng, Ling Wei, Oscar, and Ma Hongjun. Wang Qiu'er and Jiu Yuana had special identities and couldn't go. Therefore, they were excluded. This time, only the 11 of them set off. Is everyone ready? Lu Yuan's faint voice sounded as he looked at everyone. Everything is ready. Everyone nodded and said. Very good. Lu Yuan praised softly. He swept his gaze around, and a frail old figure appeared in front of him. He had long green hair and a pair of emerald eyes. It was the poison Douluo, Dugu Bo. Seeing Dugu Bo's figure, Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly, and then he walked towards him. Hall Master. Dugu Bo immediately bowed when he saw Lu Yuan. Elder Dugu, are you still holding a grudge against me for hiding your identity? Lu Yuan asked softly as he looked at Dugu Bo. Chapter 9-10. Your subordinate wouldn't dare. Dugu Bo immediately replied after hearing Lu Yuan's words. You wouldn't dare, not you wouldn't dare, right? Lu Yuan asked as he looked at Dugu Bo. Your subordinate doesn't dare. The palace master has given me a new lease on life, and the poison pill method has completely resolved the hidden danger of my jade phosphorus bloodline. Your subordinate has always been grateful to you, so how could I dare to hold a grudge against you? Dugu Bo bowed slightly as he spoke with a sincere expression. Lu Yuan stared at Dugu Bo with eyes as sharp as knives, but Dugu Bo met Lu Yuan's gaze without the slightest hint of fear. After a moment, Lu Yuan sighed, and his gaze softened. Do you still remember the agreement you made with Elder Dugu? Lu Yuan asked softly with his hands behind his back. Your subordinate remembers. The palace master cured me and Yang Yang of the poison, and your subordinate will serve the palace master for the rest of my life. Dugu Bo replied. So Elder Dugu still remembers. How have I treated you all these years? Have I mistreated you in the slightest? Lu Yuan asked. The palace master has treated us extremely well. You have never mistreated us in the slightest, Dugu Bo said. Then why has Elder Dugu been so gloomy these days? Are you still brooding over your imprisonment? I've already said that this matter has nothing to do with the bright phoenix Douluo. It was all my orders. Elder Dugu, you have been too close to the Heaven Do imperial family. This matter concerns the grand plan of the martial soul palace, so I had to be careful. I was wrong in this matter, and I can apologize to Elder Dugu. However, as an elder of the Dragon King Hall, shouldn't you reflect on yourself for being so close to the Heaven Do imperial family? Lu Yuan stared at Dugu Bo as he spoke. This subordinate knows his mistake. Dugu Bo said. There's no need for that. The Heaven Do imperial family only exists in name now. Prince Xuexing is dead. The martial soul palace is bound to unify the continent. Let bygones be bygones. You'll still be an elder of the Dragon King Palace and a hall master of the Medicine Hall. I won't touch you. You've worked hard for the Dragon King Palace all these years, and I'll remember them all. I won't mistreat any of my meritorious subjects. I won't be stingy with what I should give you. Whether it's soul bones, soul tools, or high-tier pills, I won't be stingy with them either. As long as you're wholeheartedly devoted to the Dragon King Palace, everything will be fine. One more thing, you can rest assured. The Dragon King Palace will always be the Dragon King Palace. It will never merge with the Martial Soul Palace. You don't have to worry about the people of the Martial Soul Palace instructing you to do anything. You don't have to listen to anyone except me. Do you understand? Lu Yuan asked. This subordinate understands. Douluo heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Lu Yuan's words had resolved some of his worries. He had some conflicts with the Martial Soul Palace. It was naturally a good thing that the Dragon King Palace wasn't merging with the Martial Soul Palace. It's good that you understand. Keep your emotions in check. There's nothing good about the imperial family of the Heavendo Empire. In their hands, the Heavendo Empire has decayed and the citizens are living in an abyss of suffering. I'll show you how the entire continent will prosper and develop rapidly under my rule. Lu Yuan patted Douluo's shoulder gently as he spoke. I'm looking forward to that day, Douluo replied. All right, that's all for now. We're about to set off. I'll leave the Dragon King Palace to you and the bright phoenix Douluo. Lu Yuan spoke softly and was about to leave. Hallmaster, please wait. Lu Yuan had just taken a step when he was stopped by Douluo. Is there anything else, Elder Douluo? Lu Yuan turned around and asked. This subordinate has a request. Douluo said. Speak. This subordinate only has one granddaughter, Yang Yang. The journey to the Sea God's Island is long, and I don't know what dangers we'll encounter. This subordinate would like to ask the Hall Master to help take care of Yang Yang. Douluo said sincerely. This is easy. Douluo Yang is a member of the Dragon King Palace. I'll take good care of her even if you don't ask. Don't worry, Lu Yuan said softly. Thank you, Hall Master. Douluo thanked him. All right. Lu Yuan nodded lightly. He then walked towards the group not far away. Let's set off. Lu Yuan said indifferently as he swept his gaze across the group. Under Lu Yuan's announcement, the group set off. The 11 of them were divided into 2 carriages. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Hu Lena, Douluo Yang, and Yi Lingling were in one. Evil Moon, Fu Qinsheng, Ling Wei, Oscar, and Ma Hongjun were in the other carriage. As for Lu Yuan, there was no need to say anything. He was definitely sitting with his women. The carriages were very big, and it didn't feel crowded even with 5 or 6 people. The carriages here were all modified, and their shockproof performance was quite outstanding. The 2 carriages traveled on the road, and soon, they completely disappeared from the sight of Douluo and the others. As the carriages traveled, a day slowly passed. The afterglow of the setting sun dyed the sky red, and Lu Yuan and the others arrived at a forest. Everyone, let's stop. I'm afraid we won't be able to reach the city below today. Let's rest in the wilderness. Evil Moon, Fatty, Ling Wei, the 3 of you go into the forest to hunt some prey. Qinsheng, Xiao Ao, the 2 of you come with me to set up the tent. Lu Yuan poked his head out of the carriage and said to everyone. Yes, Hall Master. Yes, Your Highness. Yes, Boss. Uneven voices rang out, and then several people began to carry out their respective duties. What about us? What do we do? Ning Rongrong came to Lu Yuan's side and asked softly. You girls just rest well. We men can do these things. Lu Yuan said with a smile as he pinched Ning Rongrong's little face. How can we do that? We also want to help. Hu Lena said. Yes, yes. Hearing Hu Lena's words, the rest of the women nodded in unison. Okay, then when Evil Moon and the others bring back the prey, you guys help to clean it. By the way, do any of you know how to cook? There are so many people. I'm afraid I won't be able to do it alone. Lu Yuan glanced around, looked at the women, and asked. Facing Lu Yuan's gaze, Hu Lena, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong shrank their heads at the same time. They knew how to eat, but they didn't know how to cook. I know how to cook. A delicate voice with a trace of softness rang in Lu Yuan's ears. Lu Yuan took a closer look and saw that it was Douluo Yang. Yanzi, you know how to cook. Looking at Douluo Yang, Lu Yuan's eyes had a trace of surprise. Yes, when we were in the setting sun forest, it was just me and my grandfather. I learned these things when I was young. Being looked at by Lu Yuan, Dugu Yang's two jade-like hands were twisted together. She was slightly nervous, but she still spoke openly. Chapter 9:11. So that's how it is. Lu Yuan was enlightened after hearing Dugu Yang's words. Dugu Yang didn't live as blissfully as Ning Rongrong, nor did she have someone to take care of her like Zhu Zhuqing and Hu Lena. At the very least, she didn't have to worry about food. Dugu Yang's parents died early, and she relied on Dugu Bo for survival. Dugu Bo was an old man, and his cooking skills were average. The food he made was barely edible. Under such circumstances, Dugu Yang had to learn how to take care of herself. Yi Lingling's father also died early, but she was taken care of by Yi Lingsu. She couldn't compare to Dugu Yang. Dugu Yang was a pitiful girl. Looking at Dugu Yang in front of him, Lu Yuan's eyes flickered. In 2 years, Dugu Yang, who was originally level 48, had actually risen to level 57. This speed was not slower than Zhu Zhuqing and the rest of the girls. Perhaps it was because she had condensed the poison pill, but Dugu Yang's soul power had increased exponentially. She was slowly catching up to those at the top. Dugu Yang was slightly younger than Hu Lena. She was about 4 years older than Lu Yuan. This meant that she was only 21 years old. To reach rank 57 at 21 years old was already quite impressive. Hall Master. Being sized up by Lu Yuan like this, Dugu Yang suddenly felt a little embarrassed. She was actually a generous person, and even a little shrewish. Perhaps it was inherited from Dugu Bo. Her personality was actually a little antisocial and arrogant, but in front of Lu Yuan, she couldn't be arrogant at all. Not to mention her, even Dugu Bo, who always had a strange temper, was obedient in front of Lu Yuan. This was because Lu Yuan's temperament was too outstanding, especially the astonishing aura and majesty that faintly exuded from his body, which made one's heart tremble. Lu Yuan came back to his senses after being called by Dugu Yang. It was a little rude to stare at her like that. Cough cough, since you can cook, I'll have to trouble you to prepare dinner later, Yanzi. Lu Yuan coughed and said. Yes, Hall Master. Dugu Yang responded, but her hands were still clasped together. That's it then. I'm going to set up my tent too. Lu Yuan said and got off the carriage. He walked over to Qin Sheng and Oscar and helped them set up the tents. In the carriage, Hu Lena, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong looked at each other. Then, they got off the carriage at the same time and surrounded Lu Yuan. Cough cough, Hall Master, the tent is almost set up. Should I withdraw first? Seeing the 3 aggressive women surrounding Lu Yuan, Fu Qinsheng immediately thought of running away. Abuchi, I suddenly have a stomachache. Do you think I can go to the toilet? Oscar also saw the 3 women and wanted to leave immediately. He didn't know how Lu Yuan provoked these 3 ladies, but he knew that it was best for him not to get involved in this matter. Otherwise, he would definitely not have a good ending. He might even be targeted and suffer an unexpected disaster. Lu Yuan looked back and immediately understood something. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly, and he waved at Fu Qinsheng and Oscar in annoyance. Get lost, all of you. Don't be a hindrance here. All right. We'll take our leave. After saying that, the 2 of them ran off, leaving Lu Yuan alone in the same spot. After setting up the tent in his hand, Lu Yuan turned around. At this time, the 3 women were already in front of him. Is it necessary to surround me so aggressively? Lu Yuan said helplessly as the corner of his mouth twitched. Hihi, it's necessary. Abuchi, isn't Sister Dugu Yang beautiful? Why do you keep staring at her? Ning Rongrong took a step forward and asked with a smile in front of Lu Yuan. Not as beautiful as you. Lu Yuan said angrily as he pinched Ning Rongrong's face. Of course, I'm a beautiful and cute little fairy, Ning Rongrong said with a smile. Little fairy? I think you're more like a little fool. Stand aside, it's none of your business. Lu Yuan said lightly as he hugged Ning Rongrong's delicate body with his left hand. HMPH, no human rights. You just pampered me for a few days. At that time, you were obedient to me. But after a few days, I lost my human rights again. Ning Rongrong snorted with a hint of resentment in her tone. Who told you to bully me? Lu Yuan laughed. Ning Rongrong snorted again, lying in Lu Yuan's arms and secretly sulking. Are you really tempted again? Zhu Zhuqing's cold voice sounded. Although I don't want you to look for another one, if you really like her, I won't object. Helena said lightly. Sigh, what are you all thinking? When did I say that I liked her? Lu Yuan sighed and said helplessly. Then why are you staring at her? If you didn't like her, would you stare at her for so long? Zhu Zhuqing asked lightly. That's right. I've never seen you care about a woman you don't like. You've been looking at her for so long. You must like her. Helena echoed. I really have to hand it to you. I was just surprised by her strength. I didn't expect her to improve so much in the past 2 years. I also didn't expect the poison pill method to have such a great effect, so I was lost in thought for a moment. How did it become liking her? If I really liked her, would I still be with her now? Lu Yuan said softly. Really? Helena asked with some doubt. Of course. Lu Yuan said affirmatively. Then we misunderstood. Zhu Zhuqing asked. What do you think? Lu Yuan asked. As soon as these words came out, Zhu Zhuqing and Helena looked at each other at the same time, with some embarrassment on their faces. Don't doubt me so casually in the future. I've found all the women I want. It's just the 6 of you. You can rest assured. Also, can you not be so suspicious in this regard? Being looked at like a thief by you, my heart is really tired. Lu Yuan said in a deep voice. Well, we're too sensitive. We misunderstood you this time, but you have to be careful. Be more serious in your behavior in the future. Otherwise, it's easy to misunderstand. I think Dugu Yang may have thought too much about your eyes just now. Helena said seriously. That's true. Listening to Helena's words, Lu Yuan nodded in agreement. Dugu Yang, Yi Lingling, and the others all had a good impression of him. If he really didn't pay attention to his behavior, it was very likely that they would have the wrong perception. They would think that he had hope and would have thoughts that they shouldn't have. That would be troublesome. He didn't care, but he was afraid that these girls' hopes would be shattered and their hearts would be hurt. This was what he didn't want to see. Chapter 9:12. I will pay attention to this in the future. I will keep my distance from other girls and will not do anything that will cause misunderstandings. After all, I am already a person with a family, and there are 6 of them. After thinking for a while, Lu Yuan looked at the 3 girls and said softly. It's good that you know. You should be satisfied with the 6 of us. In the future, don't hook up with other girls outside. Helena's pink eyes looked straight at Lu Yuan and said indifferently. How is this hooking up? Don't speak so harshly. I was just distracted for a moment. Little fox, if you continue to speak without thinking, I will spank you. Lu Yuan's gaze swept across Helena's delicate butt, and a trace of strangeness appeared in his eyes. Being swept by Lu Yuan's gaze, Helena's delicate body trembled. Thinking back to the scene of her being spanked, her beautiful face turned slightly red, and a trace of strangeness appeared in her eyes. Bad egg, you only know how to do bad things. Helena glared at Lu Yuan and said coquettishly. Exactly. Zhu Zhuqing agreed in a low voice. Little kitty, do you want to be spanked too? Lu Yuan narrowed his eyes and scanned Zhu Zhuqing's body, causing her delicate body to involuntarily tremble. Her cold little face couldn't help but turn red like an apple. It was obvious that she also remembered the time when she was spanked. Mitch, you can bully us, you can only bully us. In front of Chihiro Snow and Bibidon, other than gentleness, there is only gentleness. When it's our turn, the treatment will immediately be different. Zhu Zhuqing glared at Lu Yuan and snorted. That's right, when you meet teacher, you call him Dong. Even your heart is about to melt, and when it's my turn, you always threaten me with spanking. H, you biased stinking man. Helena snorted and said. You guys are still considered good. The most miserable one is me. I don't even have any human rights. I'm directly told to stand aside and not even allowed to speak. At this time, Ning Rongrong, who was lying in Lu Yuan's arms, faintly said, All right. 3 women make a show. According to what you said, I've become an unforgivable, heartless man. So, I've spoiled you all for nothing. Alas. Lu Yuan sighed softly. These 3 women were talking one after another, and their tone was full of resentment. Those who didn't know would think that he had done something that angered the heavens. That's true. Helena pouted. Lu Yuan could not help but look at Helena. Did I accompany you in the city of massacre for nothing? Did Evil Moon give away his immortal herbs for nothing? Who ate the crystal blood ginseng? With these 3 rhetorical questions, Helena suddenly stopped talking. She raised her head and looked at the sky, as if it was exceptionally beautiful. Heartless. Lu Yuan sighed softly, looking a little disappointed. All right, I'm just kidding. Actually, Abuchi, you're the best. Hearing the disappointed tone in Lu Yuan's words, Helena's heart trembled slightly. She quickly ran forward and pulled Lu Yuan's right arm, lying on the other side of Lu Yuan's arms. She said with an apologetic smile on her face, Aren't you going to say that I'm biased? Lu Yuan asked. No. Helena shook her little head vigorously. That's more like it. Lu Yuan glanced at Helena and said, Evil Moon and the others should be back in a while. Let's go and prepare the firewood and tableware. When they come back, we can start cooking dinner. Okay. Listening to Lu Yuan's words, the 3 women could not help but nod. Jokes were jokes, but when it came to these serious matters, they were very obedient. Let's go. Lu Yuan said softly as he patted the heads of the 2 women in his arms. After Lu Yuan and the others prepared all the tableware, Evil Moon and the others also returned. The 3 of them had hunted a lot of prey, which was enough for everyone to have a full meal. After all the ingredients were cleaned up, Lu Yuan and Dugu Yang began to prepare dinner. Both of them were very skilled, and the food for 11 people was soon all prepared. 2 white cloths were spread on the ground, and the prepared food was placed on plates. Everyone was divided into 2 groups, sitting around the white cloths and eating dinner. Yenzi, good cooking. Lu Yuan praised softly after eating a piece of barbecue made by Dugu Yang. As long as Temple Master likes it. Dugu Yang said with a smile. Lu Yuan smiled and shifted his gaze slightly, looking at Oscar and the others on the side. Unlike the quietness on their side, Oscar and the others were very lively, and the atmosphere was very warm. It seems that Evil Moon gets along very well with them. I thought he would be a little difficult to get a word in. After all, his identity is not quite the same. Now that I think about it, it seems that I have thought too much. Nana, your brother is quite good at getting along with others. Lu Yuan said softly. Isn't that good? Helena asked with a smile. Very good. It's naturally a good thing that they can get along so well. After all, we will be a family in the future. The Martial Soul Palace is mine, and so is the Dragon King Palace. The people of the 2 palaces are not outsiders. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Hearing this, Helena smiled gently. She was naturally the happiest one that Evil Moon could integrate so quickly. There were 3 people she cared about in her life. The one she cared about most was naturally Lu Yuan, followed by Bibidon and Evil Moon. Now that Evil Moon was recognized by Lu Yuan and was even willing to take him to see God Island, she was actually very happy in her heart. Thank you, Abuchi. Thank you for everything you have done for me. Helena whispered in Lu Yuan's ear. You're welcome. There's no need to say thank you between us. And you are the best reward that God has given me. Lu Yuan said with a soft smile. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Helena was moved. Her beautiful big eyes sparkled as she looked at Lu Yuan with affection. Well, don't be moved. Let's continue eating. After eating, go to bed early. We still have to travel tomorrow. Lu Yuan said softly as he rubbed Helena's head. And you too. Go to bed early and get enough energy so that you can travel tomorrow. After glancing around, Lu Yuan's voice sounded. Yes, Palace Master. Dugu Yang and Yi Lingling responded at the same time. Everyone continued to eat. After eating, everyone chatted for a while. As the sky gradually darkened, everyone returned to their tents. Lu Yuan, Hu Lena, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong shared a tent, Dugu Yang and Yi Lingling shared a tent, and the remaining 5 people shared a tent. With the vast sea cosmos cover, there was no need for anyone to keep watch at night. Under the effect of the vast sea protective cover, the 3 tents were wrapped in it and completely isolated from the outside world. It could be said that they were very safe. After a quiet night, it was morning again in the blink of an eye. After resting for a while, everyone continued to travel. Half a month later, they finally arrived at the seaside. Chapter 9:13. Vast Sea City was the city that Lu Yuan and the others had arrived at. Is this the seaside? It feels a little different. As the group walked together and looked at the seaside scenery and the endless sea, Hulena could not help but exclaim softly. You've never seen the sea before, right? Lu Yuan asked softly as he held Hulena's small hand. No, this is my first time at the seaside. Hulena shook her head and said softly. There should be a lot of you who have never seen the sea before, right? Lu Yuan looked around and asked with a smile. Hearing this, everyone nodded in agreement. Boss, have you been to the seaside before? Ma Hongjun asked as he walked. Of course I've been here before, Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. He had never been to the seaside in this life, but he had seen a lot in his previous life because he lived not far from the sea. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing, who was walking beside Lu Yuan, could not help but ask, when did you come here? Why didn't I know? She had always been by Lu Yuan's side, but she had never seen him go to the seaside. Do I have to tell you that I have been here? Lu Yuan asked indifferently. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing's clear eyes narrowed as she looked at Lu Yuan and asked, what did you say? Ahem, nothing. I was just wondering why our family's Zhuqing is so beautiful. Lu Yuan coughed. Just now, his mouth had slipped and he did not stop. Now that he had reacted, he hurriedly tried to remedy the situation. Zhu Zhuqing snorted. With so many people around, she did not argue with Lu Yuan. Hee. Lu Yuan laughed mischievously as he reached out his right hand and hugged Zhu Zhuqing with a smile on his face. Seeing this, the people around him couldn't help but secretly laugh. They didn't expect that Lu Yuan, who had such a strong and decisive personality, would actually have a side to him that was pleasing others. It was really rare. As Ning Rongrong walked, she suddenly turned her head and leaned into Lu Yuan's embrace as she asked softly, Abuchi, are you very afraid of Zhuqing? Although Ning Rongrong's voice was soft, Zhu Zhuqing still heard it clearly. A pair of big eyes swept towards Lu Yuan. I'm not afraid. I love her. I've never been afraid of anyone in my life. Not to mention Zhuqing, I'm not even afraid of Dong. Lu Yuan said softly. Hearing this, a faint smile appeared on Zhu Zhuqing's cold face. It was very beautiful. However, when she heard Lu Yuan's last sentence, she couldn't help but feel a little angry. Of course, I also don't want to provoke her. Cats are little tigers, after all. When a tigress is angry, it's quite scary. Lu Yuan whispered. Lu Yuan. Although Lu Yuan's voice was soft, it couldn't be hidden from Zhu Zhuqing who was in his arms. Zhu Zhuqing immediately shouted and gritted her teeth as she glared at Lu Yuan. Don't shout. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth, Lu Yuan said calmly. You're telling the truth, but it doesn't sound so nice. Zhuqing, don't be polite with him. Bite him. Hulena egged her on from the side. Why aren't you biting him? Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing rolled her eyes and asked Hulena. You clearly know that he's invulnerable and his skin is harder than iron, yet you're asking me to bite him. What are you thinking? I can't bear to bite him. He's my favorite junior brother, Hulena said affectionately with her beautiful eyes. Lu Yuan, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, everyone else. Alright, you only know how to come up with bad ideas. It seems like you've never bitten me before. You're the one who's bitten the most. Lu Yuan glanced at Hulena and said in annoyance. Who asked you to be bitten? Me. Helena snorted and raised her head proudly. You're so arrogant. See how I'll deal with you later, Lu Yuan said calmly with a hint of meaning in his tone. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Helena looked back at Lu Yuan with a hint of longing in her eyes. Ever since they started on the journey, there were too many eyes and eyes. The time and opportunities for them to be together had decreased by a lot. Hee hee. Lu Yuan chuckled and didn't say anything. This girl would know how powerful he was in a while. Palace Master, what should we do next? Palace Master, please tell us, Fu Qinsheng asked softly. Let's rest in Vast Sea City for 2 days. After such a long journey, everyone should be tired. Use these 2 days to buy food and necessities. We'll go out to sea 2 days later, Lu Yuan said calmly. Yes, Palace Master, everyone replied. Everyone walked slowly and found a hotel to settle down in. Those who want to go out and take a look can go by themselves. However, you must be accompanied by at least 2 people in a group. You can't go out alone. As for Fatty and Lil Ao, you too have to be careful. You're not allowed to go to bad places. Otherwise, hee, I'll break your legs. In the hotel, Lu Yuan said softly as his gaze landed on Ma Hongjun and Oscar. Ah! Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Oscar was fine, but Ma Hongjun was a little upset. Not going to that kind of place was worse than killing him. Moreover, he originally wanted to see if the beauties in the Lin Hai area had a different flavor. Boss, I have my needs too. You have 3 beauties to accompany you, but I don't. Ma Hongjun shrugged and said innocently. Then find a girlfriend. Don't go to that kind of place. What if you get sick? Look at Evil Moon and the rest. Which decent person would go to that kind of place? You used to have Xiehua causing trouble, so you had no choice. Now that you've gotten rid of Xiehua's problem, why would you go to that kind of place? Lu Yuan asked. But I can't find a girlfriend, can I? Ma Hongjun said dejectedly. Aren't you chasing after Jiang Zhu? You didn't manage to get her? Lu Yuan asked. Jiang Zhu said that he's too young. Oscar laughed. You're the one who's too young. Don't you know how to talk? She said that I'm too young. Can you be clearer? Hearing Oscar's words, Ma Hongjun could not help but refute fiercely. All right, I didn't make myself clear. Oscar shrugged and said. Hearing their conversation, Lu Yuan and the other guys could not help but laugh. However, Helena and the other girls could not help but spit secretly. You can't find a girlfriend. Is your life so miserable? Forget it, I'll arrange one for you when we go back. Oscar, you too. You're a food-type soul master. It's more reliable to find a soul warrior as a girlfriend. At least she can protect you. Lu Yuan said. A soul warrior as a girlfriend? Won't Oscar be bullied to death? Ma Hongjun laughed. No, after all, Oscar is so handsome and talented. It's not difficult for him to find a gentle and beautiful female soul warrior. But you, it's a little difficult. Looking at Ma Hongjun, Lu Yuan said softly. Chapter 9:14. That's right. With Fatty's appearance, it's indeed a little difficult. Oscar agreed. Oscar, are you looking for a fight? Ma Hongjun clenched his fists tightly and said in a low voice. Look, I'm just telling the truth and this damn Fatty wants to fight. Oscar spread his hands and said. All right, stop fooling around. Although Fatty's matter is a little difficult, it's not impossible. Although his appearance isn't outstanding, he's very talented. Moreover, Fatty looks like the kind of person who pampers his wife. Isn't that right, Fatty? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. That's right. I'm famous for having tender feelings for women, Ma Hongjun said. As soon as he said that, the crowd couldn't help but laugh again. All right, leave the matter of Fatty's girlfriend to me. I'll keep an eye out for you. After all, there are so many people in the martial soul palace of the Dragon King Palace. I'm sure we can find a suitable girl for Fatty. Now, you guys can go back and have a good rest. Lu Yuan said. Yes, Palace master. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, the crowd began to leave slowly. Boss, then I'll leave the happiness of the rest of my life in your hands. Ma Hongjun didn't leave. He looked at Lu Yuan with a pitiful expression. Got it. I'll remember. Now, you and Oscar can get lost. Don't disturb me when I'm doing my business. Lu Yuan scolded with a smile. Hihi, we'll get lost right away, Ma Hongjun said with a cheeky smile. He pulled Oscar and quickly disappeared. After the two of them left, Lu Yuan directly pulled the three girls into the room. Little fox, since you're not willing to admit defeat, I'll start with you. Lu Yuan smirked. He picked up Hulena and threw her on the bed. 2 days passed in a flash. After resting for 2 days in Vast Sea City and preparing the necessary supplies, Lu Yuan and the other two set out to sea. With the sea route map given by the Pasisi, it wasn't difficult to follow the map. Soon, Lu Yuan and the others had been sailing on the sea for 3 days. The sun was shining brightly, and the gentle sea breeze was blowing his hair. On the deck, Lu Yuan was lying on a deck chair, leisurely basking in the sun. Abuchi. A tender voice sounded in Lu Yuan's ears, and Ning Rongrong's alluring figure appeared in front of Lu Yuan's eyes. Her face was a little pale. She had never sailed on the sea before, so she obviously felt a little uncomfortable on such a long voyage. In fact, other than Lu Yuan and Hulena, the others were a little uncomfortable. Especially Zhu Zhuqing, the kitten, whose condition was quite serious. She was still sleeping in her room on the ship. Don't run around if you're not feeling well. Have a good rest. Looking at Ning Rongrong's appearance, Lu Yuan reprimanded her with some concern. I'm fine. Besides, I was afraid that you would be bored here alone, so I came to accompany you. Ning Rongrong revealed a trace of a smile and said softly. Then come over and sit on me. Lu Yuan said warmly. Ning Rongrong smiled faintly and walked to Lu Yuan's side. She sat on his lap and then lay in his arms. Lu Yuan's left hand gently hugged her. His right hand was shining, and the white light soaked Ning Rongrong's body. Under this light, Ning Rongrong's pale face became much rosier. Hihi, I knew that following you was the best. I feel much more comfortable now. Ning Rongrong's eyes narrowed into crescents as she said with a chuckle. This can only treat the symptoms, but not the root. After a while, you will still feel uncomfortable. However, things like seasickness will only be uncomfortable in the first few days. After those few days, you will be fine. Lu Yuan said with a smile. En. Hearing this, Ning Rongrong nodded gently. By the way, Rongrong, is there a girl of the right age in your Seven Treasures glazed sect? Looking at Ning Rongrong, Lu Yuan asked softly. Do you want to introduce her to Fatty? Ning Rongrong asked. Yes, you also know that Fatty doesn't have a girlfriend until now. It's quite pitiful. Lu Yuan said. There are a few, and they are the direct disciples. However, with Fatty's appearance, they might not be interested. Ning Rongrong said. But Fatty's talent is rare in the world. Rongrong, Fatty's talent isn't much lower than yours. He's already level 51. You have so many more resources than him, but you're still only level 56. And don't the other half of your Seven Treasures glazed sect's direct disciples have to be soul warriors? Fatty's explosive power is still very strong. Lu Yuan said. That's true. Then I will talk to my father when we go back. Since you asked, my father should not refuse. Ning Rongrong said. But it's best if she is beautiful. We can't let Fatty suffer. Lu Yuan said. Don't worry, none of the direct disciples of our Seven Treasures glazed sect are ugly. Although those are not as good-looking as me, they are still rare beauties. Ning Rongrong smiled. Hehe, are you praising yourself? Hearing Ning Rongrong's words, Lu Yuan could not help but laugh. No, I am telling the truth. I am a little fairy, Ning Rongrong said in a sweet voice. Yes, a cute and charming little fairy. Lu Yuan smiled gently and kissed Ning Rongrong's red lips. Then, he hugged her slender waist tightly. Ning Rongrong smiled and quietly lay in Lu Yuan's arms. Time passed second by second. Lu Yuan was still enjoying the sea breeze and smelling the salty smell of the sea, but Ning Rongrong had already fallen asleep in his arms. You said you wanted to accompany me. Girl, you fell asleep so quickly. Looking at Ning Rongrong's peaceful sleeping face, Lu Yuan's eyes were filled with love as he gently played with her hair. Suddenly, a wail entered Lu Yuan's ears. This wail was not clear, and it seemed to come from very far away. However, it was especially touching, and Lu Yuan's heart could not help but tremble. Lu Yuan sat up and looked into the distance. He saw that there were a few ships on the sea about 1,000 meters away. The waves were surging, and it seemed like someone was catching something. What's wrong, Abuchi? Ning Rongrong immediately woke up when Lu Yuan got up. She rubbed her sleepy eyes and looked at Lu Yuan in confusion. There seems to be someone hunting soul beasts in front. Lu Yuan looked into the distance and felt that the wail that tugged at his heart was coming from that direction. After thinking it over, he immediately guessed the truth of the matter. Oh, Ning Rongrong said softly. She did not have any reaction. Wasn't hunting soul beasts a very normal thing? Abuchi, you are not thinking of interfering, are you? Ning Rongrong could not help but ask when she saw Lu Yuan's expression. Chapter 9:15. That's right, I was just about to intervene. Lu Yuan nodded and said. Why? Isn't it natural for soul masters to hunt soul beasts? It's a bit unreasonable for you to intervene. Don't tell me you really want to save that soul beast. Ning Rongrong asked. I do have this thought. That soul beast seems a bit unusual. Its wail can actually make my heart tremble. This ability to affect people's hearts is quite interesting, so I want to take a look. Lu Yuan said softly. So that's the case. No wonder you want to intervene. But to save a soul beast, this. Ning Rongrong wanted to say something but stopped. What's wrong with saving a soul beast? Are you looking down on soul beasts? To me, soul beasts are no different from humans. If humans make me angry, I'll kill them without hesitation. If soul beasts make me feel pity, I'll save them if I want to. Sooner or later, they'll all be my people, and I won't side with anyone. Lu Yuan said softly. His eyes flickered, and the terrifying aura on his body suddenly rose. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong was stunned. There was no difference between humans and soul beasts in his eyes. Sooner or later, they will all be his people. Why do I suddenly feel that Abuchi is a bit unfamiliar? Is this something that Abuchi said? What are you daydreaming about? What nonsense are you thinking about again? Looking at Ning Rongrong's wide eyes and dazed appearance, Lu Yuan couldn't help but ask. Nothing, but Abuchi, isn't it a bit inappropriate for you to put soul beasts and humans on the same level? Ning Rongrong asked softly. What's inappropriate about it? Lu Yuan asked. You are a human. Shouldn't you pay more attention to talents? Ning Rongrong said. But I also have the Golden Dragon's bloodline. I'm not biased towards humans or soul beasts. I'll kill soul beasts and I'll kill humans. Of course, I'll save soul beasts and humans, but whether I kill or save them depends on my mood. For example, this soul beast has aroused my interest, so I want to save it. Lu Yuan shrugged and said. Then you're really willful, Ning Rongrong said grumpily. It can't be helped. Who asked me to be so strong? That's how willful the strong can be. Lu Yuan raised his head and said proudly. You've never changed your willful and reckless character since you were young. How dare you say that I'm a little witch? Your character is even more unpredictable than mine. Ning Rongrong said. All right, stop nagging here. Go and wake everyone up. Also, tell Nana to take good care of the ship. Slow down. I'm going to take a look over there first. If I don't go now, that soul beast will probably die. Lu Yuan patted Ning Rongrong's head and said softly. Well, then you go. Ning Rongrong said softly. Lu Yuan smiled and let out a dragon's roar. His body suddenly turned into a golden light and disappeared into the sky in an instant. Ning Rongrong glanced at Lu Yuan's back and then returned to the cabin on the ship, preparing to wake them up one by one. Lu Yuan's speed was extremely fast. The distance of 1,000 meters was covered by his feet in no time. Soon, he was close to the sea region. Snake King, work harder. As long as you help me take down this soul beast, I'll put in a good word for you in front of my father. When the time comes, you'll definitely be given the position of protector. An arrogant youth had his hands behind his back as he spoke to a middle-aged man below him. This man's martial soul was a huge black python. Below him, there were 9 dazzling yellow, purple, black, and black soul rings. He was a titled Douluo. Don't worry, young master. Leave it to me. After hearing the arrogant youth's words, a dim light flashed across the middle-aged man's eyes. The competition in the Holy Ghost Church was very intense. 4 emperors, 2 emperors, 1 sect leader, and 8 protectors were the highest positions. In fact, apart from these 15 protectors, the Holy Ghost Church also had a few ordinary titled Douluo. As they were slightly weaker, they weren't included in these 15 protectors. Now that the blood emperor of the 4 emperors had passed away, the remaining emperor's position was being fought over by the 8 protectors. After a few years, it was finally settled. The Dark Dragon protector of the 8 protectors took over the position of one of the 4 emperors. He was titled the Dark Emperor. In this way, one of the 8 protectors was empty. The remaining titled Douluo were eyeing this position, and the Snake King was no exception. However, he didn't have much of an advantage in terms of his abilities. It would be a little difficult for him to become a protector. However, it would be a lot easier if he could obtain the support of the arrogant youth. This was because this youth's father was Emperor Bai. Emperor Bai's martial soul was the Azure Sea White Dragon. It was a mutated martial soul from the Dragon clan. It possessed the attributes of massacre and water. It was very powerful. If he could obtain Emperor Bai's support, he would definitely be able to become a protector. This was why the Snake King was so respectful to this youth. The young man wasn't weak either. Although he was already 30 years old, his cultivation had reached level 70. Although he couldn't be compared to the 2 holy sons, he was still a rare genius in the Holy Ghost Church. He was second only to the 2 holy sons. The Snake King had accompanied him on this trip to find a suitable soul beast for him. He didn't expect to be so lucky. It didn't take him long to find this 50,000-year-old deep-sea demon whale. It was just right for the youth's Azure Sea White Dragon martial soul. However, this deep-sea demon whale wasn't an ordinary soul beast. This 50,000-year-old deep-sea demon whale was unexpectedly strong. It could withstand his attacks for so long. Let's end this quickly. Although we're at sea, we're close to the Douluo continent. We can't expose our identities yet. It's better to be careful. The Snake King muttered in his heart. His attacks became even fiercer. Under his attacks, wounds appeared on the deep-sea demon whale's body. Blood flowed out. Furthermore, the Snake King's attacks were laced with poison. Once the poison came into contact with the blood, it quickly entered the deep-sea demon whale's body. Black spots appeared on its dark blue skin. This was a sign that the poison was spreading. Deep-sea demon whale? Lu Yuan, who had just arrived, was stunned when he saw the huge body of the deep-sea demon whale. There was a look of surprise in his eyes. He didn't expect a deep-sea demon whale to affect his heart. However, it made sense. The whales of ordinary soul beasts wouldn't cause his heart to tremble. The deep-sea demon whale was more likely. Lu Yuan looked at the deep-sea demon whale that was wailing and struggling in pain. He couldn't bear to see it. It was strange. He had killed many soul beasts, but he rarely felt pity. This deep-sea demon whale seemed to be exceptionally intelligent. His gaze shifted slightly, and when his gaze swept across the people on the 2 ships below, a feeling of disgust surged from the bottom of his heart. Lu Yuan's gaze turned cold, and his eyes overflowed with murderous intent. Evil Soul Master. Lu Yuan squeezed these 2 words from between his teeth. They were filled with a deep chill. Chapter 9:16. Evil Soul Masters. Lu Yuan narrowed his eyes as he looked at the people on the two ships below. A terrifying killing intent swept out from his body. If he had to name the people he hated the most in this world, it would definitely be Evil Soul Masters. He hated Evil Soul Masters to begin with. After his near-death experience in the dense fog forest, Evil Soul Masters were now on his must-kill list. He had never been a good person, and he was very vengeful, not to mention a near-death experience like this. If it weren't for Gu Yuana and the sacrifice of the Titan giant ape, he would have already died. How could Lu Yuan forget such a grudge? Furthermore, he had witnessed the madness of Evil Soul Masters with his own eyes. He, little bastard, surrender and obediently become our young master's soul ring. The Snake King laughed wantonly. He swung his snake tail at the heavily injured deep-sea devil whale. Immediately, blood splattered everywhere, dyeing the surrounding seawater red. The deep-sea devil whale struggled violently due to the pain, letting out a series of mournful cries. Hehe, this is a good opportunity. The Snake King laughed. Black energy surged from his body, turning into a huge black energy snake that was more than 10 meters long. He was prepared to use this attack to severely injure the deep-sea devil whale to the brink of death. Then, he would let his young master absorb the deep-sea devil whale's soul ring. The heavily injured deep-sea devil whale was unable to resist the huge black energy snake that was surging towards it. Its eyes were filled with despair. Bang! A golden light flashed, and the black energy snake that was more than 10 meters tall collapsed into nothingness. The golden light returned to its original form. It was actually a 3-meter-long, gorgeous spear that was golden and jade in color. Who's messing around? Get out here. The Snake King couldn't help but roar when his attack was broken. Then, his pupils contracted slightly. He saw a white-clothed figure slowly appear above the deep-sea devil whale. It's you rats from the Holy Ghost Church again. Lu Yuan waved his hand, and the Dragon Emperor Drain Spring Spear appeared in his hand. Boundless power burst forth from his body, crushing towards the Snake King and the others. Not good. Feeling the terrifying pressure, Snake King's expression suddenly changed. The aura of the young man in white in front of him was exceptionally strong. This young man who looked like he was in his 20s was actually a super expert. Very strong, absolutely undefeatable. Snake King's heart was trembling. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He had seen Emperor Bai and Emperor Qing before. However, he felt that even Emperor Bai and Emperor Qing were not as powerful as the young man in front of him. Only the Supreme Sect Master, whom he had met once before, had such a terrifying aura. Just by standing there, he seemed to be as majestic as the heavens and earth, causing people's hearts to tremble. I am Snake King, the guardian of the Holy Ghost Church. May I know who you are? Snake King bowed. He could sense the terrifying aura from Lu Yuan's body. He didn't believe that he was a young man. For those old freaks, it was normal for them to maintain the appearance of a young man. It was obvious that he thought that Lu Yuan was such an old freak. You don't deserve to know my identity. Since you're really from the Holy Ghost Church, you can all die. Lu Yuan said plainly. He flipped his palm, and a sky-high palm print came crashing down. That palm print was thousands of feet wide, and it directly enveloped Snake King and the others within its attack range. Lu Yuan's movements now contained unparalleled offensive power. It was more than enough to deal with anyone below an ultimate Douluo. Damn it, I'm going all out. Although Snake King didn't know why Lu Yuan didn't even say a word before he attacked, he couldn't think too much. His aura had been locked onto by the palm print, and he couldn't dodge it at all. He could only take it head-on. Dark Demon Black Snake True Body. Snake King shouted as he unleashed his martial soul True Body. He was going all out against Lu Yuan's attack. Black light flashed, and Snake King turned into a huge black snake that was dozens of meters long. He lunged towards the huge palm print that was coming down. You're just a mantis trying to stop a chariot, Lu Yuan said plainly, and there was a look of disdain in his eyes. Even a rank 96 Transcendent Douluo would be severely injured if they took this attack, let alone Snake King, who was only rank 92. To him, Snake King was just an ant. Die. Lu Yuan shouted, and the huge palm print slammed into the black snake that was dozens of meters long. Suddenly, there was a tragic cry, and the black snake's body was crushed. It was reduced to a bloody mist, and the so-called Snake King Douluo was killed. The palm print didn't stop. It landed on the two ships, and there was an explosion. The two ships were smashed into pieces, and huge waves that were hundreds of meters tall rose. Everyone on the ships was also killed, including the so-called son of the White Emperor. After all, even Snake King, who was a titled Douluo, was killed by a single palm print. How could a bunch of soul sages and soul emperors be killed? That was death without leaving behind even a speck of dust. Ants. Lu Yuan's expression was cold as he slowly retracted his right hand. He didn't have any intention of interrogating them. An ordinary titled Douluo probably wouldn't know too much about the core of the plan. There was no point in asking them. He might as well kill them. Furthermore, he had Jun-Ie as his spy. As one of the two holy disciples of the Holy Ghost Church, his status was very high. At least, his status was much higher than Snake King's. Jun-Ie would definitely know more about the things that Snake King knew. Therefore, there was no need to waste time. He could just kill them and be done with it. After retracting his right hand, Lu Yuan moved and arrived in front of the deep-sea demon whale. He stood not far from its eyes. This deep-sea demon whale wasn't small. It was more than 40 meters tall. It was no wonder that the deep-sea demon whale was one of the soul beasts that were famous for their large size. The Titan giant ape was only 100,000 years old, but it was only slightly more than 10 meters tall. This deep-sea demon whale was only 50,000 years old, but it was already more than 40 meters long. If it was more than 100,000 years old, it would probably be close to 100 meters long. Thinking about it this way, the deep-sea demon whale king was rumored to be 1,000,000 years old. It probably wasn't smaller than Gu Yuana's dragon form. It had to be at least a few hundred meters long. Thinking about it this way, it was a little scary. Lu Yuan's eyes were only slightly bigger than the deep-sea demonic whale in front of him. Standing in front of it, Lu Yuan was as tiny as an ant. However, that was only in terms of size. If one were to talk about strength, it would be the other way around. If Lu Yuan wanted to kill this deep-sea monster whale, he would only need a single slap to finish it off. After all, the scene just now was the best proof. Chapter 9:17. Lu Yuan stood in front of the deep-sea demon whale and looked at its huge eyes that were the size of a human. The deep-sea demon whale also stared at Lu Yuan. It blinked its eyes, and there was a tinge of curiosity in them. "Aren't you afraid of me?" Lu Yuan chuckled as he asked. For some reason, he felt that this deep-sea demon whale was a little naive as he looked at it. Furthermore, its eyes were very intelligent, and he had a good impression of it. A deep-sea demon whale with 50,000 years of cultivation wasn't weak. Furthermore, this deep-sea demon whale was very intelligent. He wasn't worried that it wouldn't understand what he was saying. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, the deep-sea demon whale let out a cry and blinked its eyes. It seemed like it was trying to say something. "My aura makes you feel close to me. Furthermore, I saved you. Are you not afraid of me?" Lu Yuan smiled faintly as he understood the meaning conveyed by the chirp. The deep-sea demon whale's huge head stirred the seawater, and it seemed like it was nodding. Interesting. As he watched the deep-sea demon whale's actions, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile. It was rare to see such an interesting soul beast. It had to be said that Lu Yuan was a little interested in this naive deep-sea demon whale. The last soul beast that gave him such a feeling was the three-eyed golden lion, Wang Qiu-er. Naturally, this deep-sea demon whale couldn't compare to Wang Qiu-er, who had a bloodline resonance with him. However, this soul beast's uniqueness attracted his attention. Lu Yuan's eyes shifted slightly, and he saw the wounds on the deep-sea demon whale's body. Some of them were still bleeding, and the wounds were all black. These were signs that it had been poisoned. The dark demon black snake's poison was also very potent. Although this martial soul wasn't top tier, it wasn't weak either. Otherwise, The Snake King wouldn't have been able to become a titled Douluo. Although it was very weak against Lu Yuan, and was killed with a single slap, it wasn't because the Snake King was weak. It was because Lu Yuan was too strong. However, there was only one Lu Yuan in the world. To others, the Snake King was still very strong. At the very least, he would be able to hold his own against the Snake Spear Douluo. Is it painful? Lu Yuan asked softly. The deep-sea demon whale let out a soft cry, as if it was responding. Then don't struggle, I'll heal you. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. Hua hua. The huge head of the deep-sea demon whale stirred the water surface again, creating splashes as it nodded. Seeing this, Lu Yuan smiled. With a wave of his right hand, white light sprinkled down and covered the huge body of the deep-sea monster whale. The clear chi divine power had a miraculous effect on detoxification and healing injuries. Under the white light of the clear chi divine power, the injuries on its body began to slowly recover. Black venom was forced out of the wounds, the black spots on its skin slowly dissipated, and the color of its blood slowly turned bright red. Seeing this, Lu Yuan knew that the venom had been forced out. Seeing this, he increased his soul power. The white light became several times denser, and the deep-sea demon whale's wounds began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than 10 minutes, its injuries were completely healed. Retracting his right hand, the white light retracted, and the deep-sea demon whale in front of Lu Yuan was lively again. The deep-sea demon whale let out joyful cries, and its huge head leaned in front of Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan couldn't help but extend his right hand and gently caress its smooth skin. Since your injuries have healed, you should go back. It's too dangerous here. Go back to your home. This isn't a place you should be. Lu Yuan had some guesses about the origin of this deep-sea demon whale. Deep-sea demon whales were very few in number, and they were very rare. If he remembered correctly, the deep-sea demon whale king had a daughter. She reached the level of 100,000-year soul beast 20,000 years in the original work and turned into a human. Although the deep-sea demon whale in front of him was only 50,000 years old, a soul beast's cultivation was not determined by its age. The deep-sea demon whale king was a million-year soul beast, but it had only cultivated for 300,000 years. If there was an opportunity, it was not impossible to increase one's cultivation by 50,000 years in 20,000 years. On the contrary, the possibility was very high. Therefore, he felt that the deep-sea demon whale in front of him was very likely to be the daughter of the deep-sea demon whale king. The reason was very simple. The deep-sea demon whale was actually a kind of predator. It was not a kind soul beast. The deep-sea demon whale king had devoured many soul beasts to reach its current level. Therefore, the general deep-sea demon whale was actually more fierce. It was difficult to find a second one like the deep-sea demon whale in front of him. It was even a little silly and cute. Therefore, Lu Yuan made such a guess. Hua hua. The deep-sea demon whale's huge head swayed left and right, stirring up the surrounding seawater. At the same time, it continued to whine in response to Lu Yuan. You snuck out. It's too boring at home. Don't you want to go back? The corner of Lu Yuan's mouth twitched slightly. So this deep-sea demon whale in front of him was still like a child. It snuck out, and it was quite similar to the three-eyed golden lion that was flaunting its prowess in the Great Stardow Forest. It was still in the mindset of a playful child. It seemed like this deep-sea demon whale was too well protected. It had never seen the outside world, so it snuck out of curiosity. It was no different from the wayward boys and girls who ran away from home at the age of 11 or 12. It was very likely that this was the first time this deep-sea demon whale had run so far away. It was just unlucky that it met the Holy Ghost Church. If he hadn't been here and rushed over after hearing its whine, it would have become someone else's soul ring. It seemed like not only was life dangerous, but the life of a beast was also the same. Lu Yuan sighed to himself. If you don't want to go back, where do you want to go? It's very dangerous outside. Lu Yuan withdrew his thoughts and asked softly, Follow me? After hearing the deep-sea demon whale's reply, Lu Yuan was slightly stunned. This deep-sea demon whale actually wanted to follow him? I want to go to see God's island. I'm afraid it's not convenient for you to go there. The great white demon sharks guarding Sea God's island don't get along with you deep-sea demon whales, so you should go back. Lu Yuan said gently. After hearing this, the deep-sea demon whale let out another whine. You'll go back when we reach Sea God's island? After hearing the meaning behind this whine, Lu Yuan rubbed his chin with his right hand. He was a little hesitant. However, when he saw the pleading look in the deep-sea demon whale's eyes, he finally made up his mind. Follow me, then. However, you must leave when we reach Sea God's island. Lu Yuan said seriously. Chapter 9:18. Lu Yuan was quite fond of this deep-sea demon whale, and it wasn't impossible to keep it by his side. Moreover, one of his goals was to let humans and soul beasts live in harmony. With his current status, maintaining the balance between the two races was something he had to do sooner or later. He could simply use this deep-sea demon whale to prove to the people around him that humans and soul beasts could actually live in harmony. First, he would plant a seed in their hearts, and then he would change the entire continent by changing them. This deep-sea demon whale was simple and kind. In Lu Yuan's opinion, it should be able to get along well with everyone. After receiving Lu Yuan's affirmation, this deep-sea demon whale seemed very happy, and it kept making cheerful whale cries. Its big head gently touched Lu Yuan's palm, and its pair of big eyes blinked. Coupled with its size, it gave off a silly and cute feeling. Let's go. Lu Yuan said warmly as he patted the deep-sea demon whale's head. Let me sit on you. Hearing the meaning of the deep-sea demon whale's cry, Lu Yuan was slightly stunned, and then his figure moved and landed on its back. Then deference is no substitute for obedience. Just go straight ahead. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. The deep-sea demon whale responded, and then moved its huge tail. The sea surged, and it quickly moved forward. On the ship, Hulena and the others were awakened by Lu Yuan, and they were already on the deck. Rongrong, you said that Abuchi went to save that soul beast? Hulena looked at Ning Rongrong with a trace of suspicion on her face, as if she didn't believe that Lu Yuan would do this. She had been with Lu Yuan for the longest time. Lu Yuan might not be a bad person, but he was definitely not a good person. She absolutely didn't doubt that Lu Yuan would save ordinary civilians when they were being slaughtered. However, she was a little suspicious that Lu Yuan would save a soul beast. This was not in line with Lu Yuan's character. Moreover, Lu Yuan seemed to have killed a lot of soul beasts. He wasn't a saint, so she really found it hard to understand why he would suddenly save a soul beast out of kindness. Yes, Abuchi said that the soul beast's cry affected his heart, so he went to save it. He said that soul beasts and humans were no different to him. If they provoked him, he would kill them all. He was in a good mood, so he didn't care if they were humans or soul beasts. He would save them if he wanted to. He also said not to ask. Ning Rongrong repeated Lu Yuan's words to Hulena. Hearing this, the corner of Hulena's mouth twitched. This was Lu Yuan's character. He was unrestrained and unscrupulous. As long as it didn't touch his bottom line, he would do whatever he wanted. There were only two people who could control him. One was Chihiro Snow, and the other was the newly promoted Bibidon. Only they could make Lu Yuan restrain his character, but it was a pity that both of them weren't here. None of the people here could control him. Whether it was her, Zhu Zhuqing, or Ning Rongrong, none of them could. Whatever. Anyway, he's not going to do anything bad. Just let him be. Also, a soul beast that can affect his heart is definitely not simple. Also, whatever he wants to do, we just need to support him from behind. Zhu Zhuqing's cold voice sounded. I didn't expect Zhuqing's thinking to be so high. Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Hulena was a little surprised. Zhu Zhuqing's attitude was quite similar to her own. No matter what Lu Yuan did, she was willing to support him. It wasn't because of any other reason, but because she loved him. It was that simple. If you marry a chicken, you have to follow the chicken. If you marry a dog, you have to follow the dog. Since I've followed him, He's my everything. Zhu Zhuqing said indifferently. Ever since she made up her mind to follow Lu Yuan, this sentence had been engraved in her mind. Zhu Zhuqing looked cold on the outside, but her heart was burning hot. Once she fell in love, she would never regret it. Zhuqing, you're right. I think so too. Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Helena smiled faintly. No wonder Lu Yuan always hesitated between her and Zhu Zhuqing every time he had something good. Firstly, it was because they were both weak. Secondly, it was because their love was purer. Your realms are so high. I don't have so many thoughts. I just need to be responsible and obedient. Ning Rongrong said with a serious face. Fart. Hearing this, Helena couldn't help but laugh. She said, you're the most innocent one. But this is also good. Just love him purely. You don't need to think about other things. Yes, yes. Ning Rongrong nodded in agreement. The three women talked. Their words were full of tenderness and sweetness for Lu Yuan. The people who heard this felt sour in their hearts. Lu Yuan was really lucky to be able to find such a good girlfriend. Unlike them, except for Evil Moon, all of them were single. Yes, Evil Moon had a girlfriend. Among the boys here, except for Lu Yuan, only Evil Moon had a girlfriend. The others were all single. However, Ling Wei and Fu Qinsheng didn't have to worry. The two of them also had pursuers. It was just that they were obsessed with cultivation and didn't have time to find them. In fact, the most envious people were Oscar and Ma Hongjun. The two of them had been looking forward to finding a girlfriend. However, when they thought that Lu Yuan was going to help them with the matter of finding a girlfriend, the two of them felt a little relieved. Nana, there seems to be something approaching in front. Evil Moon had been observing the front. When he saw a black shadow imprinted into his eyes, he couldn't help but remind Helena beside him. Hearing this, Helena moved her gaze and looked around. Her spiritual power was the highest here. Naturally, she could see the farthest and the clearest. With her eyes narrowed, Helena could see that it seemed to be a whale. And there was a person sitting on the back of the whale. Sensing Helena's gaze, the person directly returned a look. This gaze was so familiar that Helena immediately recognized the person. Abuchi is back. Helena said softly. As soon as this was said, everyone was relieved. It was good that it wasn't an enemy. Abuchi is back. Then I'd like to see what kind of soul beast he saved. Hearing Helena's words, Ning Rongrong laughed. You'll see in a while. Helena smiled gently. Her gaze was fixed on Lu Yuan's blurry figure. The speed of the deep-sea demon whale wasn't slow. Soon, Lu Yuan approached the ship. Looking at the people on the deck, Lu Yuan's figure moved and directly appeared on the deck. Hall Master. Boss. Abuchi. Ning Rongrong called out softly and threw herself into Lu Yuan's arms. Then, she hugged one of Lu Yuan's arms. Seeing the trace of terrifying aura remaining on Lu Yuan's body, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but ask softly, "Did you make a move?" Seeing the terror of the remnant aura, Lu Yuan definitely made a move. And it wasn't a simple move. He used his true strength. Chapter 919. Before Lu Yuan could answer, Ning Rongrong, who was hugging Lu Yuan's arm, couldn't help but say, "Zhuqing, what's with your question?" Abuchi wanted to save the soul beast, but those people didn't let him. Therefore, he had to fight. If he wanted to save the soul beast from someone else, he had to at least beat them into submission. How could he beat them into submission without fighting? That's not what I meant. What I meant was that he killed them. Apart from the terrifying pressure on his body, there was also a faint murderous aura. Zhu Zhuqing said softly. Did he really kill them? Helena asked with a serious look on her face. It was already inexcusable to save the soul beast from someone else. If he killed someone, it would be Lu Yuan's fault. After all, no matter how unscrupulous he was, there were still some rules that had to be followed. He killed them, and not a single one of them was left alive. I smashed them all into mush, and they didn't even have a complete corpse. Lu Yuan didn't hide anything, and directly said it out loud. After he said that, Everyone's expressions changed at the same time. Why was he so ruthless? What's going on? Is there something wrong with those people? Helena couldn't help but ask. She understood Lu Yuan's character. He wouldn't kill people for no reason, let alone kill them all and smash them into mush. Unless there was something wrong with those people, and it was a huge problem. This was why Lu Yuan killed them all. Yes, those people were from the Holy Ghost Church. They were all evil soul masters. Therefore, I didn't show any mercy, and sent them all to hell. Lu Yuan lowered his voice as he spoke. After he finished speaking, everyone was stunned. They finally understood why Lu Yuan killed them all. He hated those inhumane evil soul masters the most. The Holy Ghost Church again? After hearing this, Helena couldn't help but narrow her eyes. Back in the City of Massacres, there were already people from the Holy Ghost Church playing tricks. Now, they actually encountered people from the Holy Ghost Church again. They must be plotting something. Abuchi, we can't let our guard down. Helena said seriously. I know that. That's why we have to unify the continent as soon as possible. Then, we have to focus on dealing with the Holy Spirit Church. Otherwise, we'll have to deal with both internal and external problems. However, you don't have to worry about that. You should focus on improving your strength. The same goes for all of you. Once you reach the Sea God's Island, focus on improving your strength. As for the Holy Ghost Church, leave it to me and Dong to deal with. Lu Yuan looked at the three women and asked. Understood. Helena and the other two nodded at the same time. That's good. Lu Yuan nodded slightly. Abuchi, is this the soul beast you saved? It's so big, it looks like a whale. What kind of soul beast is this? Ning Rongrong asked in a soft voice as she glanced at the deep-sea demon whale beside the ship. The overlord of the ocean, the deep-sea demon whale, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Compared to the evil demon killer whale and the demon soul great white shark, the deep-sea demon whale was obviously stronger. In addition to the existence of the deep-sea demon whale king, it wasn't a big problem for it to be called the overlord of the ocean. After all, it was very difficult to find a soul beast stronger than the deep-sea demon whale king in the ocean. Although there were more types of aquatic soul beasts than terrestrial soul beasts, and there were countless 100,000-year soul beasts, they couldn't compare to the continental soul beasts in terms of top-tier fighting strength. It could only be said that aquatic soul beasts were far superior to the continental soul beasts in terms of mid-tier fighting strength. After all, the ocean was too big, and the number of soul beasts in the ocean was also large. Naturally, there would be more powerful soul beasts. The continental soul beasts had bathed in the blood of the Silver Dragon King, so it was reasonable for more powerful soul beasts to appear. This was especially true in the Great Star Do Forest, where the Silver Dragon King was hiding and recuperating. There were even more powerful soul beasts. There were 7 savage beasts on the savage beast ranking that came from the Great Star Do Forest. Deep-sea demon whale? After hearing Lu Yuan's words, everyone was shocked. They all remembered that the deep-sea demon whale king was ranked second on the savage beast ranking published by Lu Yuan. It was a million-year soul beast, and its strength was comparable to a demigod. They actually encountered a deep-sea demon whale today? Abuchi, is it a deep-sea demon whale of the same species as the deep-sea demon whale king? Helena asked. Yes, but this deep-sea demon whale can't compare to the deep-sea demon whale king. It only has a cultivation of 50,000 years. Moreover, it is different from ordinary deep-sea demon whales. It is gentle and kind, and won't hurt people. If you are interested, you can go and take a look. It should be very willing to get close to you. Lu Yuan smiled and turned around. He waved at the deep-sea demon whale, and the deep-sea demon whale immediately swam in front of Lu Yuan and the others. It raised its huge head and splashed water. Since you want to follow me, you have to get to know these people. They are very good people. Lu Yuan touched the deep-sea demon whale's head and said with a smile. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, the deep-sea demon whale immediately let out a whale cry. It is saying hello to you. Lu Yuan smiled. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Helena and the others were shocked and quickly asked, "You can actually understand the language of soul beasts?" A faint smile appeared on Lu Yuan's face when he heard their questions. He couldn't understand what they were saying in the beginning, but after his spiritual power reached the level of an ultimate Douluo, he could easily communicate with others using his spiritual power. As long as he could sense the deep-sea devil whale's emotions, it wouldn't be difficult for him to understand what it was saying. Come, you guys also say hello to it. Just touch its head. Lu Yuan smiled. Nana, you go first. Don't be afraid. Lu Yuan looked at Hulena and smiled gently. You come with me. It was the first time that Hulena was so close to a soul beast, and it was even a 50,000-year deep-sea demon whale. It was impossible for her not to be nervous, but she was a lot more relieved with Lu Yuan around. Okay, then come over. Lu Yuan gently hugged Hulena's delicate body, and his right hand held Hulena's jade-like hand as he gently touched the deep-sea demon whale's head. The deep-sea demon whale also blinked its large eyes, and it seemed to like it very much, and it kept letting out cheerful whale cries. How do you feel? Lu Yuan asked softly. It's a very strange feeling. Hulena smiled sweetly. This was the first time that she had such close contact with a soul beast, and it felt very good. Just like humans, there are actually good and evil soul beasts. This deep-sea demon whale is a very pure soul beast. Sometimes, it is much more comfortable to get along with soul beasts than with humans. Lu Yuan gently patted the deep-sea demon whale's head as he spoke with deep emotion. You have interacted with other soul beasts before? Hulena couldn't help but ask when she heard the meaning behind Lu Yuan's words. Of course, I know many soul beasts. I'm even very familiar with the beast god, Di Tian. Lu Yuan smiled faintly as he spoke. Gu Yuan's identity would be made public sooner or later, and Lu Yuan didn't mind revealing some things to the people around him so that they could get used to it slowly. This way, when the day came, it would be much easier for them to accept it. Chapter 920. Are you very familiar with the beast god, Di Tian? Hulena was a little astonished when she heard Lu Yuan's words. However, she understood a little when she recalled that Lu Yuan had mentioned that Gu Yuan's sanctuary was the god of the great star Do forest. What kind of soul beast is the beast god, Di Tian? Hulena asked. She was very curious about the beast god, Di Tian, who was ranked first on the savage beast list that Lu Yuan had announced. Zhu Zhuqing and the rest turned to Lu Yuan when they heard Hulena's question. Di Tian, he's one of the more intelligent soul beasts. Of course, I'm talking about him in comparison. Di Tian can be considered a qualified leader among soul beasts. He's also one of the rare soul beasts with a pure dragon bloodline. He's very strong, and there's a reason why he's ranked before the deep-sea devil whale king. Di Tian isn't as old as the deep-sea devil whale king, and his basic cultivation should be weaker than it. However, he's a pure dragon, and his bloodline is stronger than the deep-sea devil whale kings. Soul beasts value their bloodline very much. In addition, Di Tian has the ultimate skill, the Dragon King's Claw. His fighting strength should be slightly stronger than the deep-sea devil whale kings. Of course, it's only slightly stronger. Di Tian might not be able to do much to the deep-sea devil whale king in the sea. They're both demigods, and the gap between them isn't that big. It's possible to determine a victor, but it's impossible for Di Tian to kill the deep-sea devil whale king. Lu Yuan said plainly. How strong are demigods? I know that the Dragon Emperor Douluo is an ultimate Douluo. I've seen his battle with the Great Consecrator, and I've also seen your battle with the Great Consecrator. It was earth-shattering. However, demigods should be stronger, right? Hulena asked. Of course. A demigod and an ultimate Douluo are two different realms. Let's put it this way. The sea god Douluo Posesi is an ultimate Douluo, but she can borrow the power of the sea to become as strong as a demigod. She once easily defeated the Great Consecrator, who was an ultimate Douluo, and the previous Vast Sky Douluo, Tang Chen. Lu Yuan said softly. He easily defeated the joint forces of the Great Reverend and the previous Vast Sky Douluo, Tang Chen? Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Hulena couldn't help but open her mouth wide in surprise. The surrounding people were also shocked. A demigod was actually this strong? That's right. He defeated 2 limit Douluo with ease. That's the power of a demigod. Limit Douluo is the limit of a human, but a demigod is already half a step into the realm of gods. They're not just humans anymore, so they can't be compared. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Doesn't that mean that even if the Great Consecrator and the Dragon Emperor Douluo were to work together, the Martial Soul Palace and the Dragon King Palace wouldn't be able to do anything to the Great Star Do Forest's core region? Hulena said. More or less. If I'm not here, then we really can't do anything to them. But if I'm here, then we can. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. With his current power, he could dominate the continent. If he had the Godslayer spear, he would be invincible against anyone below the god rank. Even a demigod could be defeated with a single spear. Otherwise, he wouldn't have brought Hulena and the rest to the sea god's island alone. As the saying went, those who were skilled were bold. With his current power, he was confident that he could kill the deep-sea demonic whale king or Pasisi immediately if he met them. With sufficient power, he wasn't afraid of other people's tricks. It was important to know that he could use the Godslayer spear 5 times without suffering any damage. He only needed 1 spear to kill a demigod. What this meant was self-evident. Hulena nodded. She knew a little about Lu Yuan's Godslayer spear. Zhu Zhuqing and the rest also knew a little about it. Lu Yuan had once told them that he was invincible on the continent. Therefore, with Lu Yuan by her side, even if she was a little shocked by the power of a demigod, she recovered quickly. All right, let's not talk about this anymore. You guys come and greet it. Lu Yuan waved his hand and said softly. With Hulena in front, the others didn't hesitate. They walked up one by one and gently stroked the head of the deep-sea demonic whale, greeting it. This deep-sea demonic whale was also very friendly. It was very willing to make new friends, so it quickly got to know everyone. Time flowed like water. In the blink of an eye, another week slipped through the gaps between the fingers. The blue sky and white clouds matched the endless blue sea. The scenery was very pleasant. Lu Yuan was still lying on the deck leisurely basking in the sun. Hulena and the rest were also enjoying the sea breeze on the deck. After another week, everyone had already adapted to life on the ship. The symptoms of seasickness from before had long disappeared. After all, they were all soul masters with strong physiques. Although they couldn't adapt for a while, they would naturally be fine after a long time. Zhu Zhuqing sat beside Lu Yuan. She picked up a piece of fruit and sent it to Lu Yuan's mouth. He ate it in 1 bite. Zhu Zhuqing was quiet and well-behaved. She didn't like noise. After the symptoms of seasickness disappeared, she usually accompanied Lu Yuan most of the time. As for Ning Rongrong and the rest who liked to be lively, they played very happily with the deep-sea demonic whale. In 7 days, everyone was more familiar with the deep-sea demonic whale. They also played more freely. Ning Rongrong and the rest climbed on the back of the deep-sea demonic whale many times to play with it. It could be said that the existence of this deep-sea demonic whale also solved a lot of the boredom of the journey. They also gave the deep-sea demonic whale a simple and crude name, Xiaolan. The reason was because it had dark blue skin. However, Xiaolan didn't sound bad. At least it was a little more reliable than names like Xiaobai and Xiaohuang. Zhuqing, have another piece, Lu Yuan said softly after finishing a piece as he lay on the recliner. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing picked up the fork and fed him another piece. Young Master Lu, you're so comfortable. You even need someone to feed you fruit, Hulena said unhappily. She was enjoying the sea breeze. When she turned around, she saw Zhu Zhuqing feeding the deep-sea demonic whale. Why? Do you have a problem with that? Lu Yuan asked indifferently after hearing Hulena's words. How would this little girl dare to have a problem with young Master Lu? Hulena curled her lips and walked over to Lu Yuan's side. How far are we from the sea god's island? Although the scenery in this vast sea is good, it's always a little boring. Looking at Lu Yuan, Hulena said softly. It's about a week's journey. The sea god's island is a little far from the mainland. It'll take a lot of time. Chapter 9:21. There's still about a week left. Listening to Lu Yuan's words, Helena slightly wrinkled her nose. To be honest, she was somewhat tired of this sea voyage. Do you feel that this monotonous sea voyage is boring? Looking into Helena's eyes, Lu Yuan softly asked. Yes, it's so boring. Helena pouted her lips, pulled Lu Yuan's arm, and softly acted coquettishly. I think it's okay. Zhu Qing, do you feel bored? Lu Yuan asked Zhu Qing. I think it's okay. Compared to the daily practice, this is nothing. Moreover, with you here, I don't feel bored. Zhu Qing said. Well, did you hear that? Looking at Helena, Lu Yuan asked with a smile. No, I just feel bored. Helena glanced at Lu Yuan, and secretly complained in her heart. She just wanted this guy to coax her. Not only did he pretend not to see it, he even used Zhu Qing's words to checkmate her. Damn it. Her personality is different from Zhu Qing's. Zhu Qing's personality is quiet, while she is more active. Don't you know that she is a fox? How can she be quieter than a cat? Damn Lu Yuan. Looking at Helena's expression, Lu Yuan faintly smiled, sat up, grabbed Helena's waist, and let her sit on his lap. I know you're active, but I can't do anything about this sea voyage. If you really feel bored, then let's go make a little person. It's not boring, and it's very interesting. Lu Yuan faintly smiled. Bah, you only know how to think about these naughty things all day. Didn't you have enough fun last night? Helena spat, punched Lu Yuan's chest, and said in a bad mood. I didn't have enough fun. The three of you together can't beat me. To be honest, I kind of miss Na. She's really strong. Lu Yuan sighed softly. As soon as he said this, the expressions of Helena and Zhu Qing, who were standing beside Lu Yuan, changed at the same time. Their faces darkened as they looked at Lu Yuan bitterly. Their eyes were filled with flames of anger. You dare to think about other women when you're with us? Most importantly, you insulted all three of us at the same time. Helena gritted her teeth, her tone cold. Insult the three of you? It can't be that serious. Looking at the two women's expressions, Lu Yuan was slightly stunned. Why are they so angry? It's that serious. Zhu Qing said coldly. I'm speechless. Can't I even speak the truth these days? Lu Yuan said helplessly. That's right. The three of us are willing to accompany you. Why are you still complaining about this and that? You can sleep alone tonight, Helena said coldly. How could he sleep alone? He still has his baby Na. Let your Na sleep with you. We won't serve you. Zhu Qing's cold voice sounded in Lu Yuan's ears. Hearing this, Lu Yuan smiled bitterly. He had poked a hornet's nest with his words. But it was also true. After all, which woman would be willing to be said that she was inferior to others? Not to mention the man they loved the most. And most importantly, there were only 3 people on the ship, Helena and the others. Jiu Yuana and the others were not there at all, so these 2 women were even more fearless when they got angry. You're sure to eat me. Forget it, I'm too lazy to argue with you. I'm going to find Rongrong. You 2 stay here. With that, he put Helena aside. Lu Yuan got up and left. Like to be angry? Then continue to give birth. I won't serve you anymore. I'm going to find a concubine. Anyway, this one doesn't like to be angry and is very obedient. Looking at Lu Yuan's back, Helena gritted her teeth and scolded in a low voice, this bastard. He is indeed a bastard, but what can we do? Who asked us to be so useless? Sighing, Zhu Qing said helplessly. Why do you think Jiu Yuana is so strong? This guy is so abnormal, but she can still stand it. Helena asked with some doubts. Who knows? Zhu Qing replied, and then followed Lu Yuan's back. She said that she would ignore him, but she never took it seriously. Helena's pink eyes blinked, and a light flashed. She also walked in the direction of Lu Yuan. On this side, Lu Yuan walked to the railing at the edge of the ship and glanced around. On the side of the ship, Ning Rongrong and Dugu Yang were playing on the back of the deep-sea demon whale. Seeing Lu Yuan coming, the deep-sea demon whale was very excited, and it kept making whale sounds. Lu Yuan smiled faintly, and his body moved, and he was on the back of the deep-sea demon whale. Abuchi. Seeing Lu Yuan come, Ning Rongrong smiled sweetly and threw herself into Lu Yuan's arms. "Are you having fun with Xiaolan?" Lu Yuan asked with a smile. "Very happy, Xiaolan is very obedient." Ning Rongrong smiled sweetly. Hearing this, Lu Yuan smiled faintly. From Ning Rongrong's reaction, he knew that he had made the right decision. Since Ning Rongrong and the others were getting along well with the deep-sea demon whale, it would be much easier for them to get along with other soul beasts in the future. Hall Master. At this moment, Dugu Yang and Yi Lingling saw Lu Yuan, and they greeted Lu Yuan. "I've said many times that you don't have to greet me when you see me. This isn't the Dragon King Hall, so you can be more casual. There's no need to be so rigid." Lu Yuan looked at the two of them and said, "Yes, Hall Master." Dugu Yang and Yi Lingling replied softly, "Okay." Lu Yuan nodded and retracted his gaze. He looked at Ning Rongrong and was about to speak, but suddenly, his heart skipped a beat, and a sense of danger arose spontaneously. At the same time, the deep-sea demon whale below them was also excited, as if it had sensed something that made it excited. Lu Yuan frowned slightly, and he waved his hand gently. Dugu Yang and Yi Lingling rose into the air and landed on the ship. Soon after, Lu Yuan appeared on the deck with Ning Rongrong in his arms. The sudden change shocked the three girls at the same time, and they couldn't help but look at Lu Yuan suspiciously. "Danger is approaching, everyone be careful." Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly, and he said faintly, "Danger." Hearing Lu Yuan's words, everyone couldn't help but be stunned. "Danger is approaching?" Seeing Lu Yuan's serious look, Helena, who rushed to Lu Yuan's side, knew that things weren't simple. "Abuchi, is it difficult to deal with?" "It's not very difficult to deal with, but I may have to use my full strength, and I may not have the energy to take care of you later." Lu Yuan's eyes flashed, and he looked at the deep-sea demon whale below, and he already knew who it was. If it could make him feel danger, it must be a threat to him. This meant that the strength of the newcomer was stronger than his basic strength, and his basic strength was comparable to the limit. There was only one such soul beast in the entire sea that was stronger than him. And that was the million-year soul beast, the deep-sea demon whale king. Chapter 922. He gazed into the distance, and a black shadow appeared on the surface of the sea. This black shadow was huge, so huge that it was unimaginable. Even Lu Yuan was a little shocked when he saw it. Its body was 800 to 900 meters long, and it was a huge creature. In Lu Yuan's impression, other than Jiu Yuana, who was a few hundred meters long and had a huge dragon body, the other soul beasts were like little brothers in front of this soul beast. This soul beast's aura was also unimaginably strong. Whether it was Long Xiaoyaro or Sendryu, they were far inferior to it. When he saw this scene, Lu Yuan's expression became very serious, because he had been locked onto by this soul beast. Just like how Lu Yuan could discover it immediately, it could also discover Lu Yuan's presence immediately. To existences like them, the energy in their bodies was as bright as a light bulb. Even if they were very far away, they could still clearly sense each other's presence. "Abuchi, what is that?" At this moment, Helena also saw the huge black shadow, and her voice trembled a little. This was the first time she had seen such a huge soul beast. When they heard Helena's voice, Zhu Zhuqing and the others also noticed the huge black shadow, and they couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. After all, its body was just too big. That's a million-year soul beast, the demigod deep-sea devil whale king. Lu Yuan looked at the huge black shadow without blinking as he said plainly, "Deep-sea devil whale king?" When they heard Lu Yuan's words, everyone was shocked. This was the deep-sea devil whale king, ranked second on the Savage Beast leaderboard. Isn't the deep-sea devil whale king in the devil whale sea? Why is it coming towards us? This place is still very far from the Devil Whale Sea. Helena was a little puzzled as she asked. Normally, it does stay in the Demon Whale Sea, but this time, it should have come for Little Blue. I didn't think it through. Now that Little Blue is lost, this Demon Whale King will definitely come to find it. Lu Yuan sighed softly. He really hadn't thought of this point. At that time, he had only agreed to let Xiaolan go with them, but he had forgotten that his daughter had gone missing. How could the deep-sea demonic whale king not be worried? After sensing Xiaolan's aura, it would definitely rush towards them. Moreover, this deep-sea magic whale king had locked onto him as soon as it arrived. So you're here to look for Xiaolan. That's good. Ning Rongrong let out a sigh of relief and said with a smile. Nothing, my ass. The deep-sea demon whale king isn't anything good. It's completely different from Xiaolan. It relied on devouring other soul beasts to cultivate to its current level. Perhaps it has already treated us as food. Lu Yuan said indifferently. Ah, but we saved Xiaolan. It won't bite the hand that feeds it, right? Ning Rongrong said in disbelief. Does it know that we saved Xiaolan? It doesn't know. Even if it knew, it would still attack us. Biting the hand that feeds it isn't a big deal to it. After hearing Ning Rongrong's words, Lu Yuan shook his head and said. Although he didn't like the sea god in the original novel, because he was biased and interfered in human affairs. He even showed his divinity and blocked Chihiro Snow's pursuit. However, the sea god was right about one thing. The deep-sea demonic whale king wasn't anything good. It couldn't be compared to Di Tian. Di Tian's words carried enormous weight, and he was fearless. Even when facing a god, he dared to fight to the end. His actions were very imposing. However, the deep-sea demonic whale king was different. It was crafty and sly, and was as timid as a mouse. It feared the sea god's projection like a tiger. Furthermore, it liked to scheme and scheme. It was comparable to the Evil Eye Tyrant King. In the original novel, it died very sullenly. However, in reality, its death wasn't a bad thing. Its existence wasn't a good thing for the stability of the ocean. If one were to say that Di Tian was leading the soul beasts and was trying his best to make them stronger, then the deep-sea demon whale king was trying his best to devour the powerful aquatic soul beasts to strengthen himself. There was no comparison between the two. Of course, every man for himself, and the devil take the hindmost. Although the deep-sea demonic whale king's actions weren't very good, Lu Yuan wouldn't find trouble with it. What really made him angry was that he could sense from the deep-sea demonic whale king that this fellow seemed to be coveting his divine body and the energy in his body. It wanted to eat him. This was something that he couldn't tolerate. How could he not be angry when he was being treated as food by the deep-sea demonic whale king? Then what should we do? Ning Rongrong was a little flustered when she saw the deep-sea demonic whale king getting closer and closer. However, when she thought about it, how many people wouldn't feel pressured when facing the deep-sea demonic whale king that was ranked second on the savage beast list? Don't be afraid. You guys stay here. I will deal with it. Lu Yuan said softly. I will go with you. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Helena couldn't help but say. I will go too. Zhu Zhuqing echoed. Us too. Everyone said in unison. No need. You guys are too weak. If you go, you will just be delivering food. Stay on the ship. I will be back soon, Lu Yuan said lightly, but his tone was full of determination. Then be careful, Helena exhorted. Although she knew that Lu Yuan had the god-slaying spear, she couldn't help but be a little worried when he was going to fight with the deep-sea demonic whale king. Don't worry, Lu Yuan said softly. The fire and water dragon king wings stretched out from his back at the same time. Scorching flames and chilling cold air spread out. With a flap of the dragon wings, Lu Yuan's figure directly flew out and greeted the deep-sea demonic whale king. Seeing Lu Yuan fly out, the deep-sea demonic whale Xiaolan, who was beside the ship, quickly followed. Its spiritual wisdom wasn't weak. It also felt that something was wrong and wanted to stop the battle. Deep-sea demonic whale king, Lu Yuan's speed was extremely fast. Soon, He arrived at a place only 100 meters away from the deep-sea magic whale king. Standing in the air, at such a close distance, the huge body of the deep-sea magic whale king looked even more frightening. Moving his eyes slightly, Lu Yuan saw the deep-sea demonic whale king's blind eye. This was the eye that the sea god had pierced. Lu Yuan was looking at the deep-sea demonic whale king. The deep-sea demonic whale king's remaining eye was also looking at Lu Yuan. Its eyes were full of greed. The pure divine power gushing out from Lu Yuan's body really made it drool. Originally, it only came out to look for its daughter. It didn't expect that its luck would be so good. It encountered a human with such pure energy. If it absorbed him, it was sure that it could take the last step and completely complete its own divine body. You are courting death. Being stared at by the deep-sea demonic whale king, Lu Yuan suddenly became angry. The five-clawed golden dragon king martial soul instantly appeared in his body. A terrifying bloodline pressure instantly spread out. Chapter 9:23. The five-clawed golden dragon king's martial soul enveloped his body, and a terrifying aura filled the air. 6 red and 1 gold soul rings shone with resplendent light. A pair of dragon horns sprouted from Lu Yuan's forehead, and a pair of golden dragon wings unfurled from his back. Red, gold, and blue, 3 pairs of dragon wings of different colors flapped gently behind Lu Yuan, exuding an indescribable aura. The moment Lu Yuan's five-clawed golden dragon king's martial soul was released, the deep-sea devil whale king's aura was greatly suppressed by the five-clawed golden dragon king's bloodline. The deep-sea demonic whale king was originally a soul beast, and it walked the path of dragonization. It wanted to achieve the divine sea dragon body and become a demonic god. In this way, Lu Yuan's suppression of it was even greater. With Lu Yuan's suppression, the deep-sea devil whale king's demigod strength had already fallen to the peak of the limit Douluo realm. After all, even Jiu Yuana's bloodline was affected, let alone the deep-sea devil whale king. It couldn't be more normal for it to be suppressed. This was the strength of the five-clawed golden dragon king. Even if the deep-sea devil whale king was replaced by Di Tian, its strength would still fall under the suppression. Sendryu was able to display his full strength because he had a humanoid martial soul, which was very special. If it were any other soul master with a beast martial soul, they wouldn't be able to display their full strength in front of him. Suddenly suppressed by a huge bloodline pressure, the deep-sea demon whale king's remaining large eye had a trace of horror. This was the first time it had felt this kind of suppression. Even the sea god of the past could only defeat it in terms of absolute strength. It had never been suppressed like this before. However, the shock only lasted for a moment, and was replaced by even greater greed. It's good to have a strong bloodline. If I devour him like this, I'll get even more benefits. You're still so stubborn. Feeling the increasingly tyrannical greed of the deep-sea demonic whale king, Lu Yuan coldly snorted in his heart. His whole body shone with golden light, and the golden dragon battle armor, which had already evolved to god rank, directly covered his body. After wearing the dazzling golden dragon scale armor, Lu Yuan's aura once again increased by a large margin. Come! Lu Yuan lightly shouted. With a wave of his hand, a resonant dragon roar resounded. A 3-meter-long golden and jade-colored spear appeared in Lu Yuan's hand. It was the supra-divine tool, Dragon Emperor Draining Spring Spear. Lu Yuan's basic strength was indeed inferior to the deep-sea magic whale king, but he was a cheater. If his strength wasn't enough, he could make up for it with his equipment. After the golden dragon battle armor and the Dragon Emperor Draining Spring Spear were in his hands, his imposing manner was no worse than the suppressed deep-sea magic whale king. Feeling Lu Yuan's aura rising, the deep-sea magic whale king's eyes suddenly shrank. The current Lu Yuan gave it a great sense of threat. Roar! The whine of a whale sounded like the whistle of a ship, and the surrounding seawater suddenly rose by hundreds of meters. The monstrous waves crashed down on Lu Yuan. For the deep-sea magic whale king, controlling water was a very simple matter. The waves were monstrous, but Lu Yuan didn't even bat an eyelid. With a slight movement of his right hand, a several hundred-meter-high wave suddenly rose behind him, and directly met the incoming waves in front of him. He was also an expert in controlling water, and definitely not inferior to anyone. The two huge waves directly collided with each other, and in an instant, a loud bang was heard, splashing a layer of white water mist. Then, the huge wave behind Lu Yuan directly pressed down on the wave raised by the deep-sea magic whale king. In terms of controlling water, the deep-sea magic whale king was, after all, inferior to Lu Yuan, who possessed the bloodline of the five-clawed golden dragon king and had absorbed the external soulbone of the water dragon king. The true dragon's control of water was unparalleled in the world, not to mention the external soulbone of the water dragon king. Lu Yuan's ability to control water had reached an extremely terrifying level. And just like the Sea Soul Master had a bonus in fighting at sea, Lu Yuan could also use the power of the sea to enhance his fighting strength. He wasn't a Sea Soul Master, but he was better than one. Take my move too. Lu Yuan sneered, and stabbed out with the Dragon Emperor Drain Spring Spear. A dragon's roar resounded, and a five-clawed golden dragon drilled out of the spear, flying and directly pouncing on the deep-sea magic whale king. The five-clawed golden dragon flew with the wind, and in the blink of an eye, it had grown to several hundred meters in size. With a roar, it carried a huge dragon's might, and rushed towards the deep-sea magic whale king. Dragon Emperor Spear Art, Soaring Dragon, a brand new self-created soul skill. Ever since he obtained the Dragon Emperor Drain Spring Spear, Lu Yuan began to try to fuse his bloodline soul skill with his spear art. After all, there were too many self-created soul skills in the past, and many of them couldn't keep up with his current fighting strength, so it was necessary to create new skills. Now, he had two kinds of power, soul power and bloodline power. When used separately, they had decent attacking power, and when combined, it was undoubtedly a transformation. Under such circumstances, combining the spear art and bloodline soul skills that he had created in the past, Lu Yuan finally completed the fusion and sublimation on the original foundation. He created a brand new self-created soul skill, the Dragon Emperor Spear Art series. Dragon Emperor Spear Art, Soaring Dragon was one of the moves. Soaring Dragon inherited the powerful bloodline pressure of the hidden dragon in the abyss, and also fused the sharpness and penetration of the spear art, and had a very good attack. This was a powerful attack that was not inferior to the sea god's divine skill. Facing the huge five-clawed golden dragon, the deep-sea magic whale king's remaining eye flashed with a trace of seriousness. It opened its mouth and spat out a huge water column. This water column was completely different from the original water control. In addition to the water, it also contained the terrifying energy of the deep-sea magic whale king. This was not an ordinary attack, but its true strength. Bang! The five-clawed golden dragon collided with the huge water column, and exploded in mid-air at the same time. Both sides' attacks cancelled out, but Lu Yuan's expression didn't change at all. With a flap of his dragon wings, Lu Yuan's figure was already above the huge body of the deep-sea magic whale king. The Dragon Emperor Drain Spring Spear pierced out, and silver light flashed all over the sky. A silver-white five-clawed true dragon directly attacked the huge body of the deep-sea magic whale king. Dragon Emperor Spear Art, Meteor Silver Dragon, a powerful soul skill that came from the fusion of the Spear Art's Meteor and Bloodline. Its attack power was extremely terrifying. And the most powerful point was its speed, unparalleled attack speed. Ang! The terrifying attack from above attracted the attention of the deep-sea magic whale king. It hurriedly spat out a huge water column at Lu Yuan, and moved its body at the same time. However, sometimes, size was both an advantage and a disadvantage. How could a huge body of 800 to 900 meters be so easy to dodge? Chapter 924. The huge silver-white five-clawed dragon whistled out and directly attacked the deep-sea demon whale king's body. Suddenly, a big hole appeared, and blood gushed out. The deep-sea demon whale king cried out in pain, and the huge water column attacking Lu Yuan became even more powerful. Compared to the move that blocked his Dragon Emperor Spear Art, Soaring Dragon, this water pillar was the furious attack of the deep-sea demonic whale king. How powerful was it? Have you locked onto me? Feeling the aura lock onto him, Lu Yuan faintly smiled. With a wave of his hand, the Dragon Emperor draining spring spear swept out horizontally, and the spear tip drew a strange trajectory. Two five-clawed golden dragons circled around each other, forming a huge golden vortex. Dragon Emperor Spear Art, Coiling Dragon Vortex. Spear Art, a new self-created soul skill evolved after the vortex fused with the power of the bloodline. This move was purely defensive, and its defensive ability was unparalleled under the heavens, even surpassing Unpredictable Disturbance. Unpredictable Disturbance was both a control and defensive skill. The Coiling Dragon Vortex had no control ability, but its defensive ability was beyond imagination. If Unpredictable Disturbance contained the profound meaning of the law of space, then the Coiling Dragon Vortex contained the profound meaning of the law of Devour. Of course, it was only the tip of the iceberg of the law of Devour. When Lu Yuan obtained the 4 moves of the Sea God's 13 halberds, he was determined to create a spear art that was not inferior to the Sea God's 13 halberds. Today, he had achieved some results. He created the Dragon Emperor Spear Art. Of course, the Dragon Emperor Spear Art was not perfect yet, but each move was not inferior to the Sea God's 13 halberds. In the future, when Lu Yuan's strength improved and he created an even more powerful spear art, it might even surpass the Sea God's 13 halberds. After all, the Sea God's 13 halberds were created by Poseidon, and Lu Yuan never thought that he was inferior to him. On the contrary, he always believed that he was stronger than Poseidon. As for why it was called the Dragon Emperor Spear Art, the reason was actually very simple. It was because this spear art was executed with the Dragon Emperor draining spring spear, nothing more. Of course, Lu Yuan would never admit that it was because he was bad at naming. The huge water column, which was hundreds of feet in size, was imbued with boundless energy. It directly slammed into the huge golden vortex in front of Lu Yuan. As soon as he touched it, the golden vortex spun rapidly, and the terrifying energy in the water column was absorbed. Without the support of energy, the huge water column suddenly scattered into clear seawater, and poured directly into the sea. The golden vortex in front of Lu Yuan was still intact, as if it had not been affected at all. Seeing this scene, the demonic whale king's huge eyes flashed with a trace of surprise, but soon after, the pain from its body made its eyes flash with an ominous glint. Sure enough, having a big body does have its advantages. Its fat is too thick. Even with the meteorite silver dragon's attack power, it didn't cause too much damage. Looking at the huge wound on the demonic whale king's body, which was 4 to 5 meters in diameter, Lu Yuan couldn't help but shake his head. Such a big wound was absolutely serious for an ordinary 100,000-year soul beast, and could even take its life. But for the demonic whale king's huge body, which was 8 to 900 meters long, it was only equivalent to a small cut on the arm of a person. It hurt a little, and then bled a little, but it couldn't hurt its foundation. One wound can't hurt you, but what about 10, 100, or even 1,000? Lu Yuan laughed. The 3 pairs of dragon wings on his back shook, and his figure turned into a golden light. The Dragon Emperor draining spring spear in his hand left a wound on the demonic whale king's body. The demonic whale king also launched a counterattack, but although it had a powerful attack power, it couldn't hit the astonishingly fast Lu Yuan. For a time, relying on the advantage of speed and the sharpness of the Dragon Emperor draining spring spear in his hand, Lu Yuan gained a lot of advantages. The blood flowing from the demonic whale king's body dyed the surrounding seawater a blood red. After dodging a purple lightning bolt that attacked him, Lu Yuan's Dragon Emperor draining spring spear left a big hole on the demonic whale king's body, and let it bleed a little. What a good demonic whale king! The energy contained in its body is probably a lot less than that of the big meat silkworm. It's a pity that the energy is accumulated in its enormous body, and can't be used at all. Looking at the berserk energy surging from the demonic whale king's body, Lu Yuan sighed softly. His figure moved, and he flew into the air. The demonic whale king's body was too big, and it contained a lot of energy, but it could only control 3 to 4 layers out of 10. In Lu Yuan's opinion, if the demonic whale king could use all of its energy, its strength would probably surpass that of a false god, and be infinitely close to that of a god. Even Di Tian wouldn't be its opponent. From a certain point of view, It was a little similar to the Skydream iceworm. The Skydream iceworm only knew how to eat, and didn't know how to use it at all. He ate himself alive, and became a heavenly treasure that every soul beast yearned for even in their dreams. The demonic Whale King knew how to use it, but the energy in its body was too enormous, and it could only control a part of it. This might have something to do with the fact that it relied on devouring other sea soul beasts to cultivate. If a human soul master suddenly increased their strength by too much, their control over their soul power would become rusty, and they might even lose control. Furthermore, the demonic Whale King relied on devouring other sea soul beasts to cultivate, and it encountered very few sea soul beasts, so it rarely had the chance to fight. After so many tens of thousands of years, it couldn't be more normal for it to not be able to completely control its own energy. Furthermore, this fellow had actually reached the demigod realm long ago, and its realm had been stagnant for a long time. However, it was still accumulating energy, so it would be strange if it didn't have a lot of energy in its body. Lu Yuan was in the air, and his eyes flickered as he looked at the demonic Whale King, whose entire body was suffused with purple lightning. He didn't attack, because the energy surging from the demonic Whale King's body was too berserk. If he attacked, he would be injured by the backlash of the energy. Are you serious? Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Di Tian could transform into a human form, let alone the demonic Whale King. He could tell what the demonic Whale King was thinking at a glance. If it fought with him in its original form, it would have more energy and stronger defense, but its speed would be too slow. It could only be cut by Lu Yuan's soft knife, and it would bleed continuously. Once it transformed into a human form, although it couldn't use as much energy as its original form, its speed would increase. Furthermore, the energy in the demonic Whale King's body was terrifying. Even if it transformed into a human form, the amount of energy in its body was still a terrifying number. With a flash of purple light, the demonic Whale King's huge body disappeared, and a 2-meter-tall middle-aged man appeared in front of Lu Yuan. He was blind in one eye, and he was wearing a purple armor. Lu Yuan was very familiar with this armor. It was the armor of a god. Chapter 925. Godly Equipment. This deep-sea monster Whale King also had godly equipment, and from the looks of it, it was quite complete. Compared to Lu Yuan's demigod equipment, the deep-sea monster Whale King's godly equipment was more complete, and it wasn't much different from an ordinary god's godly equipment. Furthermore, this deep-sea monster Whale King also had a demigod body, and the transformation of his godly body was almost complete. He was just one step away from condensing his godly body. His middle-aged man form was just standing there quietly, but it brought an indescribable pressure to Lu Yuan. The appearance of the godly equipment greatly increased the deep-sea monster Whale King's suppressed aura, and it returned to the demigod level, and the sense of danger became even stronger. Very strong, unbelievably strong. Without the dragon god's claw, Di Tian definitely wouldn't be a match for the deep-sea monster Whale King. Looking at the human form of the deep-sea monster Whale King in front of him, Lu Yuan made his own judgment. Before meeting the deep-sea monster Whale King, he thought that Di Tian should be stronger than the deep-sea monster Whale King. But now, the deep-sea monster Whale King's strength was beyond his imagination. With a complete set of godly equipment and a physique that was one step away from entering the godly level, even if Di Tian used the dragon god's claw, he would at most be able to fight it to a draw. It was basically impossible for him to win. As expected of the existence closest to a million-year soul beast in the world. Lu Yuan's eyes flickered. Even if this deep-sea monster Whale King didn't step into the million-year level, it wasn't too far away. Clenching the Dragon Emperor Draining Spring Spear in his hand, Lu Yuan's eyes became sharp. The stronger the deep-sea monster Whale King was, the more excited he was. Human boy, you're very good. You have such fighting strength with only rank 79 soul power. Even the former sea god is far inferior to you. The deep-sea monster Whale King spoke softly, and his eyes were filled with deep surprise. 6 red and 1 gold, it was really the first time he saw a human soul master with such a soul ring configuration. Moreover, a mere rank 79 soul master could actually fight it so fiercely without being at a disadvantage. it had to be said that it was really unbelievable. Sea God. Don't compare me with him, he's just someone I'll surpass sooner or later. Lu Yuan pointed the tip of the Dragon Emperor draining spring spear towards the ground as he spoke indifferently. Very ambitious. If you were given time, you might really be able to surpass him. But I'm afraid you won't have the chance. If I devour you, I'll definitely be able to take the final step and successfully transform into Neptunia, becoming the world's first demon god. The deep-sea demonic whale king laughed and looked at Lu Yuan with eyes full of greed. You're ugly, but your dreams are pretty good. You should be glad that you haven't broken through to the god rank, otherwise you would have died long ago. The god realm doesn't allow soul beasts to become gods. Once you break through, the commotion caused by your breakthrough will definitely attract the attention of the god realm. At that time, you will face the pursuit of the god realm's law enforcement team. Death will be your only fate. Lu Yuan said coldly, his tone carrying a trace of disdain. After Raging Flame in the God of Wine revealed her god-tier strength, she was hunted down by the Azura god's subordinate, the Azura god. If she wasn't the female lead, she would have died long ago without even leaving behind ashes. Don't you see that Gu Yuana is restraining her strength? Once her strength is exposed, she will directly face the entire god realm. I don't believe you, brat. Don't think you can fool me. Today, you and I will eat. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, the deep-sea demonic whale king flew into a rage. A purple trident appeared in his hand, with rich divine power circulating around it. His figure moved, and the trident in his hand stabbed towards Lu Yuan. It's hard to persuade a damned ghost. Originally, I wanted to give you one last chance to live for Xiaolan's sake. Unfortunately, you didn't cherish it. Since that's the case, you can go die. Lu Yuan shouted, and his body shone with many rays of light, forming a set of 5-colored divine armor. This was Lu Yuan's demigod set. Even though it was only a piece of demigod equipment, it contained the golden dragon armor, the second-generation golden dragon right armbone, and the wings of the water and fire dragon king. Even though it was only a piece of demigod equipment, its power was definitely not inferior to that of a true godly equipment. In fact, it was even more powerful. With the divine armor on his body, Lu Yuan's aura was close to that of a demigod. He wasn't any weaker than the deep-sea demonic whale king at this moment. With the 5-colored demigod set, the current Lu Yuan's strength had risen to the highest point in his life. He held the Dragon Emperor drained spring spear in his hand, and directly stabbed out with an extremely terrifying power. The Dragon Emperor drained spring spear and the deep-sea demonic whale king's trident collided, and an extremely terrifying energy fluctuation was triggered. With the two of them as the center, a shock wave swept out, bringing with it layers of sea waves. The sea waves were monstrous, and crazily surged in all directions. Come and fight! Lu Yuan shouted, and the Dragon Emperor drained spring spear stabbed out again. This time, it was the sea god's divine skill, 1,000 Years Void. The sea god's consummate skill. Seeing this move, the deep-sea demonic whale king became even more furious. It seemed to recall the scene of being suppressed by the sea god, and its blinded eye. The purple lightning on the deep-sea demonic whale king's body became even denser, and its attack became even more powerful. Boom! The spear and trident collided, and thunder exploded. The sound of a dragon's roar was unceasingly heard. The two of them fought from the sea surface to the sky, and then from the sky to the bottom of the sea. It was extremely intense. Every move was powerful enough to split mountains and overturn seas. Below the divine level, it would be difficult to find a more intense battle. The deep-sea demonic whale king had endless energy, and it had a slight advantage in terms of aura. Lu Yuan had the Dragon Emperor drain spring spear, and his attack was even more terrifying. The battle between the two of them could be said to be inseparable. Because of the fierce battle between the two of them, it even directly triggered a tsunami. The sea water crazily rose, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. It carried a terrifying power that was enough to destroy everything. Ang! A huge wave hit Little Blue, who had just swam over, to the side. That huge force caused it to suddenly flip over, and it couldn't help but let out a wail cry. It struggled to twist its body, and then continued to swim towards the battlefield between Lu Yuan and the deep-sea demonic whale king. It wanted to stop this battle. It had a premonition that if it didn't arrive in time, it might lose something important. Moreover, one of them was its father, and the other was a person it liked and relied on. It didn't want to see either of them get hurt. In the center of the battlefield, a terrifying energy burst out. Cracks appeared in the space, and huge depressions appeared in the sea. The battle between the two of them was enough to destroy the heaven and earth. If this wasn't the sea, perhaps a city would have been destroyed in their hands. Demigods, as existences who had one foot in the divine realm, their battle had long surpassed the imagination of ordinary people. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.